more having hot beverages and clearly. Maybe just to call me, so if I get up and run out of the room, that's why. Oh, okay.
Oh, good. Yeah, we need to talk to them.
All right, should be good.
Thank you. All right, we will get started. First on the agenda today is Ken going over highway, public works, the DA fund, the DB fund. So we'll start off with highway is your first category. No, public works is first.
Can I just say a couple things first before you go?
What page are we on?
10.
So I wanted to just thank you for having us today. And thank you for understanding. Sorry I wasn't here on Monday, but as you all know, I had some extenuating issues that were out of my control. And I was about 12 hours from here, so it wasn't gonna happen. But I made it back Monday night and everything's okay and nobody got hurt or anything like that. But so I apologize for delaying this till today. I've given you, I gave you today just our updated narrative because after doing some more, did I give you one, Amber? Sorry. This one's one of them better printed. The printer was challenged. But anyway, updated narrative, which you can take a look at just as far as after looking at some of our discussing with the supervisor, some of what we had is a slight increase in the overall budget outside of our contractual and our salaries. We were able to find some more and actually areas to take some more money down, and will actually show a decrease in the actual budget. And that's including contractual and salary expenses. I just thought I'd give you a little quick to sort of couple with that, just some of the things that we've, so people have an understanding of what this budget really goes to and what we're dealing with. I just put up together a list of sort of a highlight page of things that we've done this year, highway and public works side. We've done, as you can see, we've done a lot of paving on Shelter Island in this last, it sort of overlaps from 24 to 25. But we've paved a total of almost over a dozen roadways, either partials or fulls, that were in need of it. So we continue to work with that. We continue to work with our CHIPS money to do that, in addition to our road maintenance fund money, which you'll see in the budget. We also we've done a lot of catch basin work this year. So we're also we've put in a total of I think I put in 11 systems this year in our catch basins. And so those are, most recently, we just did a big job down, if you saw it, sort of on the intersection of Ram Island Road and Johnston Road. Johnston, Wade, and Ram Island were all tough spot coming downhill. It was the low spot in that road. It was people's driveways were getting washed out. So we were able to put in 5 systems down there. And we're able to pave everything appropriately so it gets to those systems. So that's another area where we do a lot of work. We also were able to this year, and Joe is going to be on to talk about it later when we get to that part of the budget, but we were also able to do quite a few town landings this year. And I was able to, we renovated Hager Road, which is a road off Dickerson. It was in really bad shape. Able to repave the whole road and the landing ramp, also, and clear out all the phragmites and everything in that area to make that a much more accessible ramp. Now, finally, we also finally did Simpson and Mananic, which some of the people in the Mananic Peninsula were clamoring for. It's the ramp right when you go straight past Salt and before you make the hard turn in the road. We had done a repair on it, but I was able to pave it right down to its almost existing old ramp site. It's not a huge boat launch, but they do launch smaller boats out of that area, and people use it for kayaks and paddle boards and such, so it was important to get that done, I thought. We also did the North Silver Beach Landing, otherwise known as the Sunfish Landing. Everybody knows the Mananic, yacht club that runs the Sunfish. So those folks were all very happy. But that had a good ramp, but the road was totally in disrepair getting to it. And so, in our next one that we're going to, and I think when we have this done, once we're going to address the North Silver Beach bulkhead, which we're going to talk about in the budget here today, and Joe will be able to chime in on it. But that's a bulkhead that we were slated to do last year, and the money had been moved there. But then we had a failure of the South Silver Beach bulkhead, and if you recall, and we did an emergency repair to that and took some of that money, not all of it, but took some of that money to do the the South Silver Beach repair. So we're moving now to doing the North Silver Beach repair this year, and that's not going to just be a repair. That's going to be a complete renewal. That's going to be a new bulkhead that's going to go in there. Fortunately, we won't have to go from the water side. We're going to be able to do most of it from the landward side, so which helps with permitting, but also Joe can speak to it more later. But I think we're going to be it's going to be considered sort of an emergency because the bulkhead is failing. I've cordoned it off right now so folks can, doesn't have a water access to it anyway. There's not a staircase that takes you down to the water, but people do frequent it. But there are some major holes that have developed. We've patched them and repaired them, but just on the interest of safety, we've blocked it off so people can't get near it. But that's going to be something that we're going to be doing, and that should be. That's one of our last bulkheads to do that we've done a lot of updating over the years. Even when I was with the department prior to this position, we had updated a bunch on the Hay Beach side of things. So this should get us into a good place when it comes to those. And then, we continue, we continue to work on roadside cutting and taking back the shoulders. That's a big part of what we've been doing a lot of this year. My guys are working on it. They were working on it this week. We're almost completely out of the Silver Beach area. We just finished Westmoreland, and now we're moving out into, we're now moving up into West Neck Road and Terry Drive and Northern Parkway. So we'll be down there for a while, but we'd already done quite a bit of work. Burns Road, St. Mary's, so that's something that we're going to always continue to do. And then really one of the highlights too, I think for a lot of the people in the community was we were able to coordinate our dredging effort this year with the county, and we got 2 areas dredged that hadn't been dredged in a very long time. We continue to dredge the end of Shell Beach Point, and that's done with a long stick excavator, and we couple with the county when that goes on and move all that material. So we got that into place, and we were able to use all the spoils to fortify the southwest facing side of the peninsula. So we were able to bolster that. It was starting to get washed out from storm erosion. And then the big one was we opened up the mouth of Mananic Creek, and we're able to dredge that, and all those spoils went over to Wade's Beach. Any of you that have been to Wade's Beach have noticed it's a much wider and larger beach now. So that was a great use of it. People seem to be happy with it down there, and it's been working out pretty well for us. So those are, and lastly is, the work we've done at Goat Hill. As many of you have known, we've been up there for a while. You guys have been up there to see it. So that was a big job we did this year for them, but I think they're going to be in very good shape for many years to come now moving forward. So it was a busy year for us, continues to be a busy year. We've still got a few months left in the year, and we're going to get into, leaf season and grinding and everything we do at the recycling center. And it'll be a popular mulch season and topsoil season. So both our grinder and our screening plants are working extra right now to get the material out there for when the landscapers start to do their fall cleanups and everything else. So just a little overview for all of you to, what we've done. And so the people in the listening audience can understand a little bit what goes on. And that's, I think I gave you a pretty good overview, but it sort of scratches the surface of, there's a lot of stuff going on in the highway department and public works. So with that, we can go right ahead.
Does the board have any, line items you want to have discussed? Or-
The reduction here is that, are there new sheets for the budget?
No, it's the department proposed and then the supervisor tentative. So those were the reductions. So Ken gave me his budget. We met a couple of times. He refined.
Okay, so what you're saying is it's the same line items, but your proposals are different.
Correct. So if you go down, if you start from the top and go down,
Okay,
you can see where I made changes, if you have questions. But as Ken and I, he came back in after seeing my differences to see why I had done what I had done.
Do you want to summarize your differences?
First one I had a question on was grounds and maintenance, 1490, 410.
Yeah.
So the proposed was 36,000. Amber, you brought it down to 35,000. I was thinking maybe we split the difference and go to 30. I wasn't sure if some of this grounds and maintenance had been like CPF and we're transferring to CPF or why there was just such a difference in the numbers.
Get that piece open. Generally, what I do when I'm reviewing the department head budgets is I will, after listening to department head come in and talk about why they're proposing certain things, I'll go back and take a look at like 2024 detailed expenditures, what's been spent so far in 2025, and review for things that are non-recurring, that were, one-offs. If we have historically not spent a line, then I will reduce it. Especially if we've been using it to transfer into other lines, I may take something from grounds and maintenance and put it into another line where budget transfers have historically been happening. So that's overall what.
I didn't understand your statement on CPF. What did that have to do with grounds and maintenance?
That was my statement.
Oh,
What I said is I was just wondering if, because I know that highway will do work for CPF and then CPF pays for it. And I was just wondering if maybe some of that was in here, like maybe in the past we hadn't been reviewed accurately or something. It was just a question. I was curious.
because obviously I think CPF, you bill separately for CPF, so that's an in and out.
Yeah.
Usually that goes back into brushing weeds.
Right.
I don't think it's supposed to.
So that number is now 30 rather than,
I mean, I'm okay with moving. I mean, I appreciate you moving it to 30 if you want. I mean, I don't mind. I mean, I think it's probably not a bad place only just because where you see where we were through August. I mean, again, some of these things do fluctuate. You do move some of these things, building maintenance, you get parks and beaches. Sometimes there's a little bit of a gray area where you can take some of that stuff out of depending on what we're doing. So I'm okay with that. But I can work within the constraints of the board too, if that's what you would.
If there's no real indicator.
In
Right, that's what I was wondering,
2024,
if there's like a one-off that,
well, no, in 2024, we used $17,550 was transferred from this line to other lines.
okay.
So that if we didn't need it last year, so if you looked at the adopted, actually, let me just see if I
Yeah,
have.
the adopted was
2023.
36.
Adopted was 36.
23,
Yeah, and
we
of that-
spent 13.
Yeah, so we pulled 17,000 out to.
Yeah, because we actually only used 18
Last year.
in last year, yeah.
Yeah, and let me just,
I was like, you used 26 this year, so I wasn't sure if there was something that had changed or.
I also looked at, I have to unhide my 2023 column.
so you must have some project, if you're moving it up to 30 and you spent 18 last year, you must have something else in mind this
No,
year.
that's me asking if we should move it to 30. Amber has 25.
5?
Yeah. So in 2023, we spent 13,000. In 2024, we spent 18,000. Right, and so we had moved 17,000 elsewhere. So, and then where we are, we're at 26,000 so far in 2025. And I just looked to see if there was something I identified as kind of a one-off. Yes, we used some of this line to purchase the mower.
Oh,
So 4,800. So if you take the current 26,000, knock it down by almost 5, we're at 21,000.
Right.
And that's why I thought, given what else is in here, East End Pest Control, small, repair.
right, we did use some of that for that mower this year, and we should be in good shape in that area, by the way, equipment wise. So I'm okay with it. I appreciate you
All right.
trying, Meg, for me. And if you guys are okay, it's okay with me,
Yeah,
but
no,
I'm,
I just wanted to make sure I understood the numbers and why the
And
change was
part of
so.
part of the modified budget going up to 41,000 is
Right.
we took money out to cover the mower, but then we've moved 10,000 back in for the school crossing gate.
Okay, that
So that's another
Yes.
one-off.
right.
makes more sense, because I was like, it's the budget line is growing this year, so why are we cutting it in half, essentially, was what I was.
Yeah, no, there is always a method to my madness.
And the
No, I
crossing,
believe you. I just wanted to understand it.
Now, a couple lines down from there, I guess, what is it?
Buoys and lifelines was my next question.
13,
Oh, jetties and bulkheads?
jetties and bulkhead.
Okay,
So what's going on there? I mean, we talked about Silver Beach, but
right. So,
you talk about the expenditure and I'll talk about how it's getting covered.
yes, so, and Joe's on too, so I'll let him chime in about it, but so the expenditure, so I had Costello give us an estimate to do this bulkhead for us, so before, so we put it into this 26 budget to try to get this thing done next year, obviously.
North Silver Beach.
Yeah, the North Silver Beach bulkhead, that's the one that I explained that is, we were supposed to do it last year, but we filled in with to do the South Silver Beach this year for it. So, yeah, so that number is the number that Jack has given us to do that bulkhead completely. Like I said, it's a complete job. And so the other thing that's, can work, and Joe, if he chimes in on this, it can also, we've talked about the fact that when we do this job, we may be able to do it from the standpoint of it's considered an emergency repair, in which case, because these are technically road ends. So we can do them as an emergency repair, which we can now work with the contractor, for example, to hopefully get that price a little bit reduced, and because we don't have to go through the same bidding process, and the DEC issues the permit very quickly because they look at it as, this is what we always talk about with these fire department access points, right? So this is a spot where you want a truck to be able to pull up to this thing and draw water from Silver Beach if they need to for a fire. So that's why they allow you to go that way. So if you want to explain how
How we're covering it.
we'll
So
leapfrogged.
two of the things that we're doing is if you look at the 2025 number so far, we've only spent, of the 40,000 budgeted, we've only spent 1,560. So that's leaving us with 38,440. So that will not get spent this year because we're accumulating it to cover this project. So by not spending it in 2025, we're creating fund balance. So if you go over to the cover sheet, you'll see that we're pulling in fund balance. So we're creating fund balance. So your CFO's analysis that we were using $700 and some odd thousand of fund balance, we're actually creating some fund balance in 2025. So we're not just tapping 2024 fund balance, we're creating it and then utilizing it in this year. We also, if you go down,
We'll still end up with the deficit, but go ahead.
but the rundown is not, the assumptions were incorrect. We'll get to that later, but I'm just showing instances where we're creating fund balance that we will then be utilizing in 2026. Under town landings, we have a budget of 19,000, presuming that by the end of the year, we will use $1,000 just based on historical spending. So 18,000 of that will not get used. So because the jetties and bulkheads often have the town landing component, we're pulling in that 18,000. So that's going to be 56,440. So that increase to 88,500, we've covered 56,000. So 88, minus 56,440. So 32,060 is the actual impact.
Increase, yeah.
Yes, the actual impact on this year's budget of what taxpayers will be paying for. So 32,000 will be taxpayer funded, 56,000 is coming out of fund balance.
Okay.
And that's less than what we budgeted for this year.
Correct.
Right.
So it's a minor decrease.
And to that end, as far as the town landings, you know, when you look at that number, where that number's lower, we definitely, I think we're gonna be in good shape, because I actually, I did my own personal, survey of our town landings, and boat ramps and stuff, and I'm gonna go through it with Joe too, because he has another master list, because there's a lot of these the things that are considered landings or access points, which are just like those three pull-offs, for example, on Ram Island Road, Ram Island Causeway, the first causeway. Those are considered access points, but they're not like places where we have ramps or where we need to get fire truck access. And, I drove around to every one that we have, and, they're all totally in good shape. If there was ever an incident, aside from this one that we're trying to fix, the bulkhead, this idea that we don't have any access points available to us for a fire or something is just not accurate. They're in good shape. I mean, yes, there's a couple of boat ramps that could be improved, but if we ever had to get a truck near something to draw water, they're open, they're accessible, and a lot of them have been repaired. So even by keeping that smaller amount of money into town landings, we can still do, I think, regular maintenance to them to keep them, up to speed, because there aren't, I didn't see anything in my opinion, my professional opinion of seeing it, I didn't see anything that was that glaring that was going to keep us from that. So that's why.
I'm sorry, I missed something here. With the parks and beaches, okay, the first line item here, okay, I'm looking at what we have spent I'm looking at what we spent this year, 8,000, and we're proposing 40,000 this year. So I'm sorry, maybe I didn't hear you correctly, okay, but I don't know why do we proposed 40, we're down to 23. But this year we only spent 8 so far, so maybe it's 12,000. I don't know, I don't understand that line.
Parks and beaches?
Could,
Well, we adopted $36,000 last year in parks and beaches. We spent 21 of that last year. And then through this year, we've spent through August, but we have a negative balance there. We took some money out of parks and beaches this year that we put towards Goat Hill, and we also with the surf rake, I think, too. Wasn't that this year or was that last?
That was last year.
That was last year.
Last year.
But also, yeah, so that was sort of something we didn't think would be recurring.
Right, we wouldn't need
Also
that.
pulled out of parks and beaches, there was some water testing. And so if you look
Oh, right.
at municipal buildings water compliance, we started off with an adopted budget of 16,000. So we pulled from various lines throughout the town so that all municipal water compliance testing was on one line, so that we would have a better sense of what it was costing us to maintain potable water, if possible, in town buildings. It also helps Joe in kind of monitoring, because he sees all the bills coming in, and then he was dividing it up, and that just seemed like a useless task.
And that was a shift between 2025 adopted and modified?
Yes, but it wasn't the full 16,000. We pulled 16,000. There was a piece in seniors where water testing was getting recorded. There were some other areas too. We have to pull back.
And we're definitely gonna need, I can foresee us this year for some of the especially for Crescent Beach. I continue to lobby the county on trying to do repairs down there to that sidewalk, but we're gonna need to do, in my opinion, we're gonna need to do something in the interim to do something to it, and some of that money's gonna have to come out of there. Definitely, we have to do some fence repairing down there too, and I'm hoping to add maybe 2. I'm hoping to add 1, possibly 2 new staircases to Crescent Beach, because there's a large, as you travel down Crescent Beach, between like 5 and 7, I think, because now we have those staircases numbered, there's a long stretch where there isn't an access point, and with a fence that's not sometimes in great shape, even though we've been repairing it as it goes along, the fewer people we need climbing over it or under it, it would be nice to get them a staircase. So there's definitely room for 2. I'm going to definitely get 1 in for sure, but I'd like to get 2 in. And I've already talked to, Ron, my head maintenance guy and carpenter with this. So we can do them. But there's also some repairs to some of the staircases that are down there too. They're kind of hurt. I mean, I keep bringing this to the county and hoping that they're going to step up for us here. But in the meantime, we can do that stuff in-house. So, and it's all pressure treated lumber and that kind of thing. So I want to have some money there for it.
Is South Road considered a county road?
Yes.
That's why.
Yeah. Well, it's a county, it's a very interesting conundrum because, the county and the state, what they like to tell you is they say, when it comes to sidewalks, for example, they say, we'll install the sidewalk and then it's the responsibility of the municipality to maintain the sidewalk. I know one of my counterparts in Riverhead is going through this with the DOT in New York State. But Gesundheit. But one of the issues down there is the county, they do things without really notifying us, right? They just kind of do it when they're ready to do it. And a couple of years back, they redid that whole road down there. They redid Offshore Road and repaved it and put in new catch basin tops and all kinds of stuff down there. But they didn't touch the sidewalk. Now, I've been in the construction business for a while, but if I was them, I would have done the sidewalk first, put in the new curbing all along, and then paved the road. So they keep saying to me, well, it's your responsibility to maintain the sidewalk. Well, the sidewalk is not even a maintenance issue. It's almost irreparable in spots. So that's what we're working towards, but it is a county road. And they did all that work at the far end, at the west end, down by Quinnipiac, if you recall. They did all that. So I'm working on them to try to keep moving that eastward so we can get that done. But in the meantime, we're going to have to do some repairs. I might need to do.
So this 23,000 is really for repairs at Crescent Beach?
It's going to be, it's what I'm really looking at. It's going to be a lot of what's going to be down there. Wade's Beach doesn't need anything as far as, repair wise goes. We did the renovation on that, the bathhouse a number of years ago. It's in good shape. But it just becomes an issue down there between the fence, the sidewalk, staircases. I'd like to see us do some more repair work to it this year specifically, so.
This 23 is really what you're saying is you really intend to use it on that Crescent?
Yeah, that's where and hopefully I won't need all 23, but I want, it's nice to have something in there in case we need to, because, we have road stops like at Manhattan Lane, for example. There are things down there that, I don't know if that one thing that keeps people from going on the beach, we might need to repair that, stuff like that, little fences here and there, but I think this is the majority of it.
There's also small, like the electricity for different, the electricity outlets at different parks, that gets billed to this area. Supplies, like beach mats and supplies.
And also our bathroom too now.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Bathroom and-
toilet paper for the bathrooms.
Is the pump out?
What's that?
That's a different line.
Oh, yeah, right, the bathroom, right, Parks and Beaches bathroom maintenance, right.
But there was like some toilet.
But like shower repair, we've had, I feel like,
Yeah.
got some parts at the hardware store for that.
Yes.
Those kind of things that come up.
Like that's some of the stuff, like that, we still have some maintenance things because even though the bathroom at Wade's Beach is great, everything's around salt water and sand, so we're having to replace some things down there occasionally, so, yeah.
Yeah, the camera for the,
Right, that came because we were having vandalism down there and we may
We're big.
end up, the Moby mats, we got, because Wade's Beach got bigger, we needed more Moby mat.
Right.
That's the handicap access that gets you down to the beach. So when our beach grew at Wade's Beach, we needed another, 75 feet of Moby mat, I think.
Yep.
Right, something like that.
Now, there's a botanic or bocce ball court down at Wade's Beach. Was that put in privately or is that something that the town?
It's not there any longer. It was put in, it was like I think it was before I was even on the highway department. I think there was a small group that I think we helped install it, but there was a group of older gentlemen that were bocce ball real enthusiasts, and they wanted it, and I think the department helped install it. It was before I started working for the department, really. So, but yeah, it's not down there any longer.
There also used to be a volleyball court down there, like, and that's gone away. It used to be like sand, like beach volleyball, over in that grassy area on the other side.
The problem with it,
Parking
the
lot.
problem with it over there was it got so bloody hot over there by the parking lot that nobody wanted to play volleyball because the breeze all over by the beach and the hot air coming off the asphalt, it was becoming a difficult place.
And then the reeds would grow up through the sand and stab your feet, so it really wasn't.
Yeah, so it's, but it's not there anymore.
Yes. Now, Goat Hill maintenance. We had 70 and it was 115.
Essentially.
Then we've spent 140. So what's all, I mean, we see a lot of activity there. We see,
Right.
there's a kitchen, we see a lot of paving going on.
Yeah, so none of the paving came out of that for this year.
What's on top of this?
The paving was out of my roadside maintenance stuff, and I only paved one car path up there this year anyway. I had paved a couple of the other ones last year because they were in really bad shape and dangerous, especially the one that goes over the big hill where everybody sleigh rides. But yeah, this money, I put this money in the budget last year for Goat Hill, to single it out because we were spending a lot of money out of our regular building and grounds maintenance to fix Goat Hill. And so this year, yes, we undertook a major renovation to the kitchen and bar. That was, involved in, replacing the whole floor, we had to replace the roof over the kitchen. And as in any old building, you start opening up the walls and discovering, well, the copper pipes that are in there that have, pinhole leaks in them. And then there was more damage, water damage to the floor. We put in a whole new hood system because the grease was leaking out the side of the building and creating a fire hazard. I mean, it was a long list of things, and it was the kind of thing where if you couldn't just seal it all back up and say it was going to be all right. I mean, the roof, we did all the work inside only to discover that the roof is leaking, and why would you put everything into it and then have the roof leak all over everything else? The other thing was the equipment. And we had to purchase the equipment that's in there. You had new oven, new cooktop, new fryer, new refrigeration. I mean, it needed to be done. It's been neglected for probably 25 years, and people putting Band-Aid after Band-Aid, and I don't disparage anybody prior to me, but it was becoming a thing where you couldn't just not address it any longer. It was going to become an expenditure. I feel like where we're at with this building right now, I think it's in really good shape to where, especially because those are the major guts of it. The kitchen is the major guts of it, and the bar area, the major guts of it. And so I think it's in really good shape for us to be moving forward. And I think we're going to get through at least another 25 years with it. And I'll say this too. I think one of the issues that we have, and it's something that the board, not right now, but the board, we should start thinking about it now, but in moving forward to when it comes up, we have a lease with Goat Hill has a lease with the town of Shelter Island. And I don't know if any of you've seen it, but it's till 2029.
Yeah.
And so where, there are things, well, I know. I mean, Ben, in fairness, my very first year in doing this, the very first call when I had to purchase equipment last year, when I first got in and they said, well, there's a line refrigerator broken down. I was like, well, great. Yeah. Talk to your landlord. And they were like, well, you are the landlord. And I'm like, oh, really? And then I read the contract and, so it's one of those things that I think we're in a place now where we're going to well get into 2029 with the repairs that we've done and upgrades that we've done to the place, and it'll be fine. But it's something to consider moving forward, because right now we're obligated to it. I mean, if he has another refrigerator breakdown, we're going to have to buy it. I mean, it's just as
I don't think that's the case.
Gordon, it's the case. Read the
I think it's
contract.
something, I did read it myself, okay, but I guess the question becomes, okay, when we have 70,000 budgeted, okay, when you know you're going over the budget, how come it's now? Like, we never.
I don't think it was now at all, Gordon. You actually, every time I need to do a budget transfer to accommodate something else that we had to do up there, the board approved it. I present it, the board
I
gets,
don't necessarily think that's correct, okay, because, yes, we look at the transfers, okay, but the purchase orders and that stuff, I've signed no purchase orders here, okay? I don't approve any of your stuff, okay? It's just the payment of the work that's being done. Okay, I just think that when you have something that's gonna run that far over the budget,
I had no idea it was gonna run that far over the budget. I just explained to you, when I opened up, you start open.
Spreadsheet.
When you start opening up, the building is from the 1900s. When you start opening it up,
I get it, I'm just.
listen, believe me, I didn't want to go over the budget, but you get into a place where I had to find a stopping point. But the reality of finding a stopping point was Joe and I discussed this stuff too. You have to be able to, open up a wall and now the plumbing is shot. What am I going to do? Seal it back up and put everything back in place only to have it fail again? You can't. I mean, it was an unforeseen expenditure that I didn't see coming down the road. I don't think anybody did. But I think, obviously it's done. What's done is done. And I think we're in a good place moving forward. And I don't see us. That's why if you look at the line that I put in for this year for the budget, I don't see it as a problem. I mean, I don't foresee a problem for us down the road here for that kind of money.
That's the issue, okay? I think the issue is that when you have a line item budget that's for 70,000, okay, and you're running so far over it, I just, when you go, what is it, 140, and I don't even know what and besides putting blacktop and all the rest of this stuff, and I don't know what the labor is you spent on Goat Hill. Do you have that broken out?
I can give you some breakdowns because I was watching this, trying to keep things in check. So we had budgeted 70,000. Half of that was going to be for the hood, the oven, the fan, the ansel. So that was for equipment. So 35,000, it actually came in at $35,045. Flooring, we had budgeted, it was going to be a $15,000 fix. It was $31,000. So we were 16,000 over on that. So you can speak to why flooring when we opened it up.
Right, because of the way the joists were set up in the floor joists of the building, everything had to be level and had to be, moved and jacked and,
So the 70,000, what
Well,
was
let me
that?
keep
You're saying it was for equipment? Is that what it was?
No, the equipment was on target. What happened, I'll go through all of it instead of line by line. So flooring, we were $16,000 over budget on flooring. On
So
plumbing,
you have a whole breakdown of what the 70,000
yes,
consisted of?
last year when we went through the budget season, Ken presented to us, this is what I'm going to use the 70,000 on. The town board agreed to it. So then as things got ripped apart, the flooring was 16,000 over budget. Plumbing, we only thought we were going to need to do $1,000 worth of plumbing work. It came in at 18,800. Electrical was supposed to only cost us 10,000.
Was any of this work bid out?
Yes.
Bids on this stuff?
yes.
Was there anything that, it's a tremendous amount of money overrun here,
Do
okay?
you want to hear the rest of it? You keep
Well,
interrupting.
you're reading it to me, but I don't have anything to look
Okay, but
at.
I'm just giving you highlights on.
Let me ask you, what would you like me to say beyond it? I mean, you want me to apologize and say, I'm sorry, I went 70? I do. I didn't want to spend $70,000 more over, but we were able to find it in other places inside of my budget, in parks and beaches, in building maintenance. I mean, I didn't want it to go over, but I'm also showing you that I'm not even gonna come anywhere near that this year. So what do you want, my public apology for it? I apologize. I mean, I don't
I don't
understand.
know why you're becoming so defensive.
I don't understand. I feel like we're dragging something. It's a reasonable question. I think I've given you a reasonable answer to it.
I
Well,
I
think
thought
the
my
issue
question is a
the fact
reasonable
that it went
question.
over budget. Like, I live in a house from the 1700s. I understand what happens when you open a wall. Believe me, I've led that blood. I think the question is, when you do have large expenditures that go this far over, it's not clear what the mechanism is to cover it. Like, where did the money come from? How did that process happen? I don't really care about the fact that you went over, but how was that covered?
Well, I think it was covered in, I mean, we did have to do budget transfers for these things as they came in. And some of this stuff, it's like, you know, it also happens, like the electric, for example. The electric in the place turned out to be, it was dangerous. I mean, it was a fire hazard. And so what happens is you go out to bid, you get the electrician to do the job. Well, once it starts, you know, if there's something that comes up that you need to add on to it, you're within your right to stay with the electrician that's doing the job. Why would I want to have another person come in to do it? So I think, so we did it through budget transfers, and we did it, you know, and took it out of other areas in the budget where it worked. I mean, last year, I mean, if you look at our building and grounds expenditure of 2024, I'd say it was like something like 70% of our building and grounds maintenance came to doing repairs at Goat Hill. And so it's just, you know, and then as far as the cart paths go, you know, the cart paths were, you know, that was in money that I can use for roads, sidewalks, and, you know, roadside maintenance. And again, it was my opinion that they were dangerous. I mean, that was a reason that we did 6 cart paths last year, I think, or 5 cart paths last year, and I did the one this year. So, and I don't foresee us having to do any more with them, right? The one that's remaining, you know, I just was up there the other day playing golf, and it seems like it's okay. I mean, somewhere down the road, they're all from like 1990 or something. They did those cart paths. So I think that's, you know, so that's where that is. And some of the work we've done up there, you know, it's a park. It's our largest town park. I mean, so I'm going to have guys go up there and, you know, clear paths and cut grass, and because believe me, what goes on up there from a maintenance standpoint of the golf course, they're only responsible for the golf course, or maybe they think they should. I mean, everybody thinks they should be responsible for more, but they're not.
Well, that's not what the lease says, unfortunately.
Yeah, the lease says, you know, take care of the greens and the tees and the fairways, I guess, but you know, I also think, look, I think Goat Hill it's an asset, let's face it. It's one of our largest assets. It's one of our oldest assets. And it's one of our, frankly, probably most utilized asset. I mean, the amount of people that are up there between golfing, events, dinner, dining, you know, there's a lot of people go through the place. So
It's a wonderful thing that the town owns, and it should be maintained. I don't have an issue with how you maintained it. I'm glad we're having this conversation, because I don't think the people of Shelter Island understand how much money is spent on it.
yeah, well, I'm hoping that this year, I mean, I don't see.
Here.
Yeah, and I get that, and I understand that, and I feel as if, you know, I think that what we've budgeted for this year, I think is reflective in the idea that, you know, I think we've hit our spot. I think I can tell you, I think, you know, we're gonna try to do which is gonna come completely from funding, hopefully to do the ADA lift, you know, to get people into the place. You know, with some work done by us, you know, some of the site work done by my staff to try to, you know, level some spots and whatever. But hopefully, you know, once we get the ADA lift in place, you know, we'll be in good shape. When Brian was in office, you know, he redid the porch around the whole building. So I really do feel like it's in a good spot now, hopefully, fingers crossed for everybody moving forward here. But, you know, and it did go over, and, you know, I to the best of my ability, I tried to keep it from not, but I can only control so much.
And when we had these discussions about where the money was coming from, it was like, don't you dare start any other project that is going to cost us money. So we took money from Parks and Beaches, so like that's it, you're done spending over in there. And then the same with Town Hall and other buildings where we pulled money from. So just like we know that we need to do some more work underneath this building, shoring up some things. So he's been doing it, with
He's-
in-house staff, not, just trying to make sure we're putting Band-Aids on instead of fixing things. So we have to look at that, but that's a bigger project that we need to look at. The other thing to keep in mind is the lease, when it got renewed a number of years ago, Goat Hill was in dire financial straits. The golf course people themselves, they have done an amazing job. They were losing money. They had to borrow money from the town at one point so that they could pay out salaries to get them through the end of the year. They have reorganized themselves and turned that operation around. So when we did the lease years ago, we could not do a lease that would have pushed all of this cost onto them. They wouldn't have accepted it. They would have gone under. We would have had to come up with a plan where the town itself would be running the golf course instead of this not-for-profit. So,
Amber, I don't think this is the question. I think the real question is when you run over budget, particularly, this is not like 10,000. Okay, it's a significant amount, and I'm just saying that, when I look at this, I say, and if we don't have Goat Hill now, I look at, if I look at that, I don't, and if you take, we're missing, I haven't seen the bill for the blacktop going down into the range yet. Did that bill been out yet?
Is that part of the?
Corzini?
As far as, well, not not last year's carpet, but it'll be,
This year.
oh yeah, this year. We had a bill, the carpet.
I saw the car paths, but I didn't see the one that goes all the way down, the blacktop, when I was there, where the golf
Yeah.
carts are up there.
Oh, that's, we were billed for it.
That in
Okay,
the golf path.
Yeah.
so that was, all of that work was done for $18,000?
Yeah, I think so. I don't have it right in front of me.
I know it was 18, but I don't, was it included?
I guess what I'm saying, so this is complete, so then obviously your budget should be reduced by that amount because that doesn't have to be done anymore, correct?
The paving doesn't come out of this line. The paving comes out of my roadside maintenance.
I get it.
Right.
But
That's,
overall, the overall budget would be reduced, okay, by.
I reduced it.
The amount of money of,
For Goat Hill, you're saying?
yeah,
Yeah, I reduced
not
it.
Goat Hill, but your overall budget would be reduced. Yeah.
Are you thinking that because he spent $140,000 in the Goat Hill maintenance line, which was budgeted at 70,000, that we're 70,000 over budget in total?
Well, you were
Because that's
over,
not
you were
the
over
case.
70,000.
That's not the case.
You've taken it
because-
from different kinds of
Correct.
things? Okay.
Yeah, we've taken it from other places, so he's still not over budget in his entire budget. You know what I mean?
I understand it, okay? I'm just, the question that becomes is that it's just a lot of money, okay? And all I see is the bill, okay? You don't report to me, you report to the supervisor. So as these things are taking place, you're going over budget, you're approving it, and it just.
You're all approving it because when we have to do the budget transfer, the supervisor has to present it to the whole
I
board.
understand.
Okay.
And, okay, except that,
It's presented as a fait accompli, but
Okay, but I mean, I think you could still have the opportunity to question it.
Well, and
It's
there
all-
have been questions, and you have presented throughout the process the different complications that have come up.
for me, the reason I'm pushing this conversation is because it's not because Goat Hill hasn't been well taken care of. The work that's been done there is good and needed and necessary. It's a town asset, blah, 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 blah. It's just that it's not clear how all the financial pieces get sort of restacked. And it's good to have this conversation so the people, the town of Shelter Island, can see how things get moved around and so. And I'm just trying to track through it.
Okay.
I don't play golf, but I go there and it looks very nice.
Yeah, they did a great job up there. It came out great.
I mean, the biggest thing is you had put in 10,000 for next year for just, anything that might
Right.
break. I took it down to 5,000.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah, okay, just me.
I saw that. I was like,
No, I told you I'm fine with it.
There can't be anything more we can have to
Yeah.
pay for.
And, the whole thing will get looked at again in 2029.
Mhm.
Definitely, it definitely needs to, sure.
And just to remind everyone, my term ends in 2027.
Maybe you'll be convinced to run again.
so the next line is municipal building water compliance. So it's budgeted, or the request was for 16. It was 16 this year. We brought it down to 10.5. So have we just gotten more numbers in, like we know?
Yeah, I just
More
based
how much
it,
it's
and
costing?
that might be more of a Joe question. Because I don't think I went back to you, Joe, to talk about how that was playing out.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, Joe.
Last year we had to replace a sizable piece of equipment that was unusually
Right.
expensive. So that's why the cost is a little higher last year than this year. It was an end of life cycle type of purchase. So this year's budget represents more of the typical operations and maintenance expenditures for the town buildings.
Okay, thank you.
And I forgot we did have that conversation.
Was it the UV light?
Yes,
Okay, that makes sense.
I just wasn't seeing it in 2025, but when we did the transfer over for 2024, like based our budget modification this year, we based it on 2024.
Mhm.
Which reminds me, since we won't have that UV light replacement and that money's in that piece of the budget, we can do a budget to finish covering the Boat Hill. I've been waiting to sort of see how things play out to finish covering that overage.
Yeah, that UV thing was expensive. It's big.
What do we use that for?
The UV,
It's over
it's for at the Presbyterian Church.
nutrition program.
Oh,
For the-
yeah, that's a health department requirement.
Yeah, it's the water
Water
treatment.
system.
Yeah, it's part of the water system in the church. It's a pretty involved thing.
Remember now. Jump down out of, hey, well, go ahead.
I know,
Generator
it's,
maintenance.
the questions are from you guys.
Yeah.
My proposal's here, and so I'm just here to answer questions.
My next one was generator maintenance.
Yeah, generator maintenance, is it generator here or across a couple buildings or?
It's all the generators.
Yeah.
Generator maintenance is, it's for all the generators at EMS, Justice, Police Department, Town Hall, seniors and senior/med center, and us at the Highway Department.
Are they aging and need an extra shot of maintenance?
They are, well, the hope is we're going to go out to bid for, we've had the same generator maintenance company for a while, and it's taken a little bit of pulling teeth to get them to come. You get into a little bit of an area because of the engines that are inside these things. There's only certain companies that'll maintain them because of I think these all have John Deere engines in them. We had a massive failure at the police department, and the engine had to be replaced.
How do you know? I'm just curious because I know nothing about generators.
Yeah.
Like, how do you know there's a failure?
They didn't.
Tested every?
Well, they cycle through automatically. But this one, that was exactly our question to them when we met with the company owner. And that's why they were able to work something out with the John Deere people to get us a much better price on getting it replaced, because
It's Shepherd to fix it.
yeah, no, I know. Well, some of them are under warranty. Well, this one goes, the problem with these things is if you replace an engine in a lot of them, they have to go back to the place that they came from. So they say, okay, we'll either repair this one, but if they don't repair it and they give you another one, they want to take the one that failed and they want to know why it failed. So they keep it. So you have to, it's
You're out a generator for a certain period of time?
well, the police department has they have a trailer generator that is given to them by the county. They have it. I mean, the county could, I guess, take it away whenever they determine, but they've had it for a long time. And we were able to, Dave McGee, he was able to wire it into place for them. So their generator, they would always have something in the case of an emergency. Thankfully, we got it all back in place before we're getting into, knock on wood, hurricane season. Well, we're in hurricane season.
We're here.
We're in it, but we got it done before then, but it was a little bit of work. But yes, the problem, I forget, they've been, I'm not exactly positive the ages of all of them, but one of the issues with generators, especially the ones, these are not propane driven. These are diesel fuel driven. And so that's why they cycle through, that you want them constantly running. But because it's great in one sense that they don't have to run, because that means we haven't had any electrical failures where we needed, generators for, but we're going to be doing more maintenance on them. Not just their automatic running of them, but testing the fuel more frequently and working with the company to test the fuel on it too. Because the fuel, eventually, if it sits in them too long, it breaks down. And that's what, then gums up injectors and that kind of stuff. So
Do we have contracts with the generator company?
I do have a contract with the generator company.
So with all of them, they have a changing of oil and that kind of stuff, right?
Well, they do biannual maintenance where they come, they usually come twice a year to do stuff, unless we need a repair, and then we call them out. But they're supposed to come and.
So like when I look at the budget from this year that we spent 2,300 through basically September 1, we spent $2,100, okay? That basically is that's what has to be the cost of the programs or the maintenance program
Yeah.
for them, okay?
Yeah, they're going to be due to come here again for another.
So this year, more than likely, there'll be something going into the fund balance here.
Possibly, it depends when they come back, unless there's.
We allocated 10,000.
We hadn't received the bill for the police department.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Yes.
no, we've got another, I think 13,200 I wrote down as well.
To come for the police department one, and not to mention if they do if they do one more service on it for something.
Yeah, no, it's unlikely that we're gonna have anything left over, because in 2023, we spent 12,500. Last year, we spent 15,971. Yeah, the 2,100 was just regular servicing until we had the failure. So we've got the replacement coming out of that, as well as that PD generator was brought online the same time as I believe the town hall generator. So the concern is, and why I bumped it up a little bit, is that if we had an issue over there, it was a catastrophic failure, but we may need more servicing here.
And this one's already had, it was a fixable piece, but there was an injector issue with the one at town hall. And it had believe me, after my car incident over the last week, I know it's about a sensor, and there's also a sensor inside of there that wasn't allowing it to cycle through. So all of a sudden you get a warning signal that something was not correct. Once you replace the sensor, it would cycle properly. But there was also an issue with injectors, which is a fuel.
So there's another bill of $12,000 or $14,000 coming from the police department.
Yeah, because the police department generator was, I think, 23.
You had, I wrote down 23,220.
It was that's correct.
That is it.
Which I have, adding 13,200 from this line, and I think we were gonna take the other 10 from another line, and I just don't have a note as to where that's coming
Was it a PD line?
I think so.
It was probably from a PD line because it was.
And that'll get shifted over to here.
Yeah, okay, so 23, okay.
Yeah.
I had written it down.
It was 23,000. I knew
Okay.
what that was, because we raised Mary hell with them, quite frankly, about the
Oh, yeah.
price of it, and said like, hey, you gotta,
Was-
do something here, 'cause
Originally
it's
much
not-
higher.
yeah, oh, it was much higher. The original one, he was trying to give us one off of he tried to get us to get something off of a county contract, and it was still 42,000 dollars. And I was like, this is craziness. This thing's not that old. And it's like, I mean, you open up the doors on these things and look at the engines, they look like they're brand new, because they barely get used, you know what I mean? So, but again, it's the good and the bad. They don't have a lot of wear, but they're also, when they sit too long, that's why the constant cycling, that's why this had a problem, because the sensor was not allowing it to cycle properly. And so then the fuel gets bad and it becomes an issue, so.
So, what was I gonna say? Oh, so you're looking for a new maintenance contract?
Well, I think we're gonna put it out, this year when we do the contracts. Like we have an HVAC bid and we have a electrical bid, that kind of thing. So we're gonna put one out for the maintenance of that. I mean, they may end up being the ones that end up doing it again, but I think it's worthwhile. I know Brian talked about it for years when he was in here, like we should try to come up with there's gotta be another company that, does this, that could maintain them, so. And I'm disappointed too, because the company that we used, the one person that was like, honestly, they're like top mechanic who used to come here all the time, he's now moved on, so, to another company, so. Or, another state altogether, so he's not here, so he was our that was kind of my last, I think it's time for us to take a look.
Okay. Signs and signals, I guess those are all the illuminated speed signs, and we don't have any traffic lights. So.
Yeah. No.
Unless you're budgeting for a new traffic light.
No, I'm not gonna be that guy that does that, no thanks.
Creek dock.
So the next one I have is boat maintenance.
I didn't even know you guys had a boat.
Yeah, that goes to, that's the workboat.
That's the workboat.
Yeah.
Is this gonna be enough to keep floating?
It's mostly like bottom paint, I'm trying to think what else comes out, like little maintenance
things?
stuff. I mean, like $500.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think.
and
Shared between a couple of departments?
no,
It's just your work boat.
it's the workboat. I mean, it's the boat that, we've had that workboat discussion, but it's the workboat that they put the buoys and the markers out with, and they pull the swim lines and,
Did you guys fix the deck on it this year?
they're talking about doing it this year because it's a little spongy.
Okay, so what do you want? Yeah, okay.
So, but generally, I mean, that stuff,
We do that in-house.
yeah, Butch and Bo are gonna do all that stuff in-house. They maintain the engines, just like Butch and Bo maintain the engines for the police boats too. They do all the, winterization and flushing of the systems and shrink wrap everything, cover all that stuff up. So, they'll do that again this year, and I think, the engines are in good shape on those. Well, the engine on the workboat's in good shape, I know that. And so, and they're very knowledgeable and know what they're doing, so I think that's okay. I'm okay with that number.
This is that same workboat that they wanted to get a new one.
Right.
Yes.
Yep.
Right.
Got it.
It's cold. Office and miscellaneous. Uniform and cell phone is a new line.
Yes, because as I was signing checks one day, I noticed that the cell phone allowance that's in the union contract was all coming from one line, either in DA or DB, and I was like, oh, no, this is like not in the right place, so it's a reallocation.
Okay. Sense.
So I looked at the breakdown salaries and kind of reallocated among A fund, Public Works, Highway. landfill,
All
and then
right,
the DADB.
you put them where they belong.
Yes.
My next one was EV charging stations.
Yeah.
We've gone over budget, and now we're going back to the original budget. Is there?
I do not believe we're over budget. I think that's a 3-year contract that we have, and so when the auditors come in, they will do a journal entry to pull out and move into prepaid 2 years
Okay.
worth of the EV charging station.
That makes sense
So
then.
the 1260 is what that
The remaining balance.
amortization of the prepaid will be.
Got it. Okay. I have no question there.
The 3780 is for a 3-year contract. So then, when does that expire?
I believe it's end of 2027.
Yes, it's 25, 26, 27.
So then,
Have we moved the price on that at all, Catherine? We haven't, right? It's been where we kept it.
It's, yeah,
the
whatever I
charge.
was advised to change it to.
Yeah, I just trying to remember, we haven't moved it again.
No, originally we had too high of a
Right.
fixed cost to start and then the amps. So
Yeah.
we adjusted that,
I
but
think we made it to cover the cost. so
Yeah.
that It's not.
mhm,
No, we're not getting any, we haven't heard any complaints. People seem to be
No, I
using
fixed
it.
it last week, so
Right.
that was cool, yeah.
I mean, as far as the rate goes, I don't
Oh,
think
yeah, yeah.
nobody,
That's
nobody,
like
no, but yeah, you got
functionality.
it working, yeah. So it was that thing, we had a person that was having a problem plugging in.
30 seconds at a time, and then we restarted it and cycled it through a couple times, and it's been fine. So they reported that they cleared it, and they've monitored it, and it's functioning properly.
That's good.
yep.
Yeah.
Beaches and bathrooms, it's all the same.
So in total, the budget that is being proposed for this year is less than the budget last year.
Yes, it's
By
a
like
decrease of
30,000.
32,576. And it's a 4.5% decrease. Page 18. Highway. This section of the A fund has always puzzled me and we tried to do something different. This covers the highway superintendent's salary, half of Catherine's salary, and then just running the office of the highway superintendent. Like, this is only what this area is for.
Okay. That answers some of my questions right off.
Yeah. So you see Ken's salary, we have Catherine's salary in there.
Mhm.
The ask was bigger. I put it back to the 2.5% when we go through salaries for everybody.
We can discuss.
Yes,
Okay.
because I know you wanted to make a plea. But we'll
Yeah.
wait until Auburn's back as well. We're going to cover salaries for the entire organization all in one fell swoop.
Because I'd like to speak to that for Catherine as well.
Speaker advocate.
Well, both advocate and speak, yes.
So then the only one I have
Okay,
Rebecca?
yeah, I missed Christina's call, but when I saw that she was calling, she's like, yes, tap the microphone. Let me just ask her, how long it's been out. Oh, only 5 seconds. Okay, good. All right, thank you. Okay, so see if we can solve this. Okay, thanks. Okay, we only missed 5 seconds, I don't think.
Okay, well, then nothing significant happened.
Yes.
We haven't
Yes, because
touched on anything.
I was trying to find my travel and mileage. Yeah, what's gone in here in 2024, it's the highway superintendent's travel to the, your, yes,
Right.
yeah, I was gonna say, whatever SWAN stands for.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then,
Solid Waste Association of North America.
Nice.
yes, that sounds like fun. And then don't you also have some highway superintendent conferences similar to like East and Main?
Yes, we have our monthly meeting, but that, I use the town vehicle for it. And this year, I didn't go to Swana this past year, for budgetary reasons, but I did send a member, Ron Jernick was because for him to be there too. But I also, the one year I did go to Swana, we didn't have the town vehicle. We had the other truck that wasn't really a good thing to be driving, highway and whatever. So I would have the town vehicle for Swana this year if I was to travel, or next year, I should say. Swana is the Solid Waste Association of North America. It's a conference that I'm a member of it. It's up in Lake George every year. It's actually a really good conference. There's there's a lot of members of DEC. There's a lot of engineers there talking about not just waste stuff, but water and
Practices.
yeah, PFAS and
Towns for highway.
Exactly.
yeah, it is, yeah. And there is highway school too. There is highway school too, which I didn't go to highway school this year. I did go last year, and I would like to probably do that again. But that's again, I can use the town, the new truck for that to go there for that stuff.
There's
Travel.
There's still like-
expenses
There's
and, like,
training, yeah, there's a training line and
Yeah.
travel and mileage.
Right. So
Yeah, the one thing that I had noticed in 2024 is that one of the training expenses, so if you're looking, you see, oh, well, in 2024, we spent 790, why am I taking it down to 500? There was a training expense, that was just posted to the wrong line.
Okay.
so
If you look at those lines combined, in '24, we spent 4,000 combined. I'm not sure where we're gonna land ultimately for 2025, somewhere in there, in the 4,000 range, so 4,200 for those two lines combined should cover.
Okay.
Who's required to do training in highway?
well, the guys that do hazmat they have to have hazmat training. Right, but as far as this training is just me, really, basically me, or if.
Or you-
Yeah.
Ron went to Swana, that
Ron-
came out of this.
Yeah, Ron, my foreman, went to Swana this year. It came out of this area for a good sake.
Yeah, so I would say training for you or your designee.
You're right,
Okay.
yeah. And there are a lot of things that are available. We are trying to save money, which I know we are. There are things that I can, Zoom on and attend virtually. They're always offering stuff like that, but.
I always find that these are really helpful to go to in person because it helps to make connections.
Yeah.
And then you actually end up saving money in the long run because you find.
Well, Swana was.
Call Brenda and ask her.
I know,
Exactly.
Yeah, and Swana was really good my first year because I met a lot of the DEC reps, engineers and inspectors that come and look at stuff and was able to like put a name to a face and, I have to say you get, you coming into this job, you hear about the DEC, the DEC comes across like a bad word and it can be a little like, oh boy, but they're actually like nice people and really like, they're willing to help and yeah,
Aliens.
yeah, they're not just these evil people that, give you, want to fine you for doing something, but they really try to help you. So it's actually, but it's nice to meet them and, I've subsequently then seeing them in person or on a job site, it makes a
It
difference,
helps, yeah.
for sure.
It's good to build rapport. Okay.
So are we ready to move on from highway?
I know.
Landfill would be the next category that Ken is responsible for, and that is on page 24. Mhm. Yeah, we're at 10:20.
Jeez.
Personnel and longevity is all contractual.
Yes, except for the 25% of Catherine's salary.
Right.
So that was the slight decrease, isn't it, just going from Ken's ask to
Oh, wait.
2.5%, so.
Right.
Oh, 2.5, I thought you said 25%.
Oh, no, 25% of Catherine's salary.
Oh, for this
Comes out of the
particular
landfill.
segment,
Yes,
yeah.
yes, which you have that highway salary schedule. But except for Catherine, everybody else is in the union and therefore contractual.
Ken's in the union?
Ken's not in the union.
No,
No, because he's management.
Yes, and
And elected.
you lose your union status.
and some better benefits that go with it.
Okay, I'm not sure.
Seasonal workers?
What's the breakdown of the first line? Is it in here or is?
It's
teeny tiny.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a micro
illegible.
print.
Yeah, it's illegible.
Oh,
Yeah.
never mind. I
need
can
to-
barely read this.
Yes, you need to look at it in the spreadsheet, in the Excel spreadsheet that was emailed to you from Shelby.
But it's contractual.
Yes,
Yeah.
And the contract expires, the union contract?
at the end of next year.
Yeah, there's one more year.
26.
Yes, yeah, so there'll be a negotiation to happen next year.
Yeah, and how's that negotiation handled? Is it done by you?
Generally, it's done by 2 town board members,
Mhm.
and then the union reps come in, and we see how it goes as far as, how the negotiations go. We get advice from our labor council, who drafts up the agreements for us. If things started to, like, for the past couple of contracts, we've been able to come to an agreement that the town board and the union was okay with, if you need to go to the lawyers and mediation and things like that.
Okay.
And the current union contract that was negotiated was a 3% increase for the 3 years.
Yeah, because it hasn't happened since I've been here.
Right.
Mhm.
And on the seasonal workers, I see that we adopted something, there's nothing this year. I'm at 8160.103. So we have no seasonal workers right now?
Well, we just completed we had one seasonal worker that moved from part-time to
Seasonal full-time. and now he's
seasonal
back to
full-time.
seasonal.
Now he's back to just part-time.
So that just.
Were you paying him all summer?
What's that?
Yeah, I'm feeling like it didn't come out of the wrong
It
one.
might be just posted to the wrong one, because it
So we'll
was,
have to shift over.
That's Judy.
Ray
Yep.
Karen.
I think
Like she might have just rolled it into the,
landfill part-time.
yeah.
The seasonal.
Oh, she put it in landfill part-time?
Right.
The next line down.
Okay.
Right.
So that's why this.
So we no longer have seasonal, we don't need seasonal?
Seasonally, well, we'll
I
need
mean,
seasonal.
going
next-
forward with the current budget right now,
Yeah, we'll need seasonal next year again, yeah.
okay?
So, yeah, where is it?
The third line down.
Yeah, we have it in there I proposed the seasonal. Because we'll need it, yeah, we have seasonal's only from the 2 weeks before Memorial Day to 2 weeks after Labor Day is when we're allowed to do that.
So the seasonal worker you had now became a full-time person?
No, he was you go from, he was a part-time worker to being, so from 20 hours a week to 40 hours a week seasonal. Then he goes back to 20 hours a week at the end. He's not a full-time employee. He's full-time for the summer because we need additional assistance at the, yeah, he works full-time hours.
That doesn't make us responsible for paid benefits?
No, because it's just a seasonal,
It's just a seasonal appointment position.
So you spread it out over the year and it's less than 30, whatever, okay.
I think it's based on the number of weeks at 40 hours a week.
Right, that's why it's a specific time frame. That's why they give you the
Yeah. I
2
think
weeks before till 2 weeks after or something like that.
20 weeks or something.
Yeah, whatever that works
comes out
out
to, yeah.
because it's, yeah.
Okay. But I cut the budget to 8,200. I think now, listening to what your plan is, that half, my cut is not going to be enough for you.
Right. Maybe we should.
Unless
take it.
your part-time is,
Mhm.
since maybe the part-time could be lowered, we just do a swap there. Take the seasonal worker from 8,500, restore the $8,000 cut. But then if that 30,000 to date through August 31st has the seasonal worker in there and needs to be reclassified, then perhaps you don't need the part-time worker at 47. We could take that down to 39,000.
I think so.
I mean, we could also revisit it when Shelby does the research
Salary.
journal entry.
Yeah.
Just, yeah, the 85 you put in for the seasonal might be too low, but the 16.5 might be too high. We might be able to come up with something like 14 or 13.5,
Yeah.
based on historic numbers.
Right. I mean, we like to have those in there. The difference this year is we actually now, because we shifted some guys around, and now we have more, we have 3 full-timers on all the shifts now down there, which is something the union had been asking for a number of years. Doesn't change anything. I mean, it's just that we moved the guy from highway to the landfill, but they have 3 on those shifts, which helps. In summertime, it's always extra. It's always nice to have the extra hands. And the part-time guys, they usually have other jobs, and it gives them, since we have 3 and 3 there, it gives us a little flexibility if they can't come into work and stuff like that. It's helpful, but it's nice to have as a backup, because there's always things to be done down there for sure. Just need a little more water.
Still on landfill. Got lots of categories. And we've got PA and the DP funds coming in. They're usually smaller though.
We're still looking at,
So,
We're still in landfill. I'm just looking at the clock saying it's 10:30. Kelly's supposed to be here at 11. Wondering whether or not to bump Kelly or revisit for the town board to a different day. I'm just looking at the clock thinking, can we get through the rest of Ken's categories in half an hour with Kelly coming in at 11? Or maybe I can have Judy bump Kelly to a different day, because she was just coming back in to talk about you all had wanted to look at whether or not you could cut some of her senior programs to fund the social work, I think it was.
Yeah, I'd prefer to bump them since we're already in this.
Yes, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And then we also wanted to have a brief work session to discuss the community event around the pharmacy. So,
I'm going to ask Judy to do that.
no, you're going to keep talking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
The next question I had was overtime,
Mhm.
816127. So,
Well, it seems
it's
pretty
been
constant.
over, yeah, it's constantly been over the 16,
Yeah, what's the cause of it?
so, which is okay if that's what you need, but then I want to make sure we budget correctly.
Yeah, well, I think this year,
I bumped it.
this
No, I
year,
saw that.
yeah, I think it's worth the bump this year. We just encounter a lot of stuff that goes on during the, the summertime here. And, hazmat, I mean, I know it comes out of a different line, but the hazmat overtime and the overtime needed for shredding day and stuff like that at the landfill.
I feel like that might be avoided with having a third guy on each shift.
Yeah, it's
They're
probably.
gonna have to be covering for callouts.
Yeah, they're not, it's definitely better since, now that we're implementing the three guys on each of the shifts now. But what we did was, and this was also a union request, part of it was that, since there's guys on those shifts, if somebody doesn't show up on a shift, and we like to have three guys on the shifts now, we put the overtime out to the land, to the recycling center staff first. If there are days where we can get by with two guys on the shift, we try to do that, but we really I don't prefer to do that only because, somebody has to go to lunch, somebody has to, whatever, maybe make a delivery, be on the screening plant, having the third person there is important. And so we've worked it in such a way that we give them the opportunity to do it first. It used to be, if somebody didn't show up from the landfill, we'd always try to backfill it with somebody from the highway, but like during the day, but that's a little like borrowing from Peter to pay Paul. You're not, you're taking somebody off the highway crew where we need them. And then sometimes those guys, they don't want to work the regular, because that shift goes from 7:30 to 5:30, whereas the highway guys are in at 7 to 3:30. So if you pull a highway guy and they can't stay, because, whatever, they say, I got to go to my kid's Little League game or something, they can't stay from the 3:30 to 5:30 piece. Now you're back to being shorthanded at the recycling center for 2 more hours. So it's been working pretty well with those guys utilizing their overtime over there. So I would like to see it stay.
If someone doesn't show up, they're hourly workers, so that those hours that they don't show up for don't get paid and can be applied.
Well, no,
Yeah.
well, they have paid time off. So like when they don't show up, they're getting, it's a sick day or a comp day or a vacation day or something like that. When I say they don't show up, it's meaning that they called in sick, somebody called in sick, on the morning of, or if we know it in advance on vacation that a shift is going to be short, we put it out to the crew for, that crew to say, are any of you that don't work that day, are you able to work that shift?
All right, so there's no corresponding drop in.
No.
The only time we get to drop in that kind of scenarios when we have paid family leave. Right. Then we're not paying out a salary.
Where's
Because
the money come from?
the insurance company.
Huh.
Yeah, that's,
So the same thing goes for landfill double time? Is that a similar?
Yeah, because that comes into, they get, because they're open on holidays, we're only closed 3 days of the year, really, so they get paid on those holidays. That's when they get double time.
the catcher.
Judy tried calling her, she didn't answer, but Judy texted her.
Okay.
So she's gonna also keep trying to get a hold of her. And also she said she didn't know that Ray was a seasonal worker, so she has been posting him in part-time, so she's figuring out that number. So we'll do that soon. And there was a pharmacy calling, Amber.
Yes,
So
I
Judy's-
just,
Okay.
I just told her I can talk to that lady later.
A different
Yeah.
random pharmacy, so,
Yeah, and online pharmacy.
yeah.
Vacation sellback.
Yeah.
What is it? It's still.
That is in the union contract,
Okay.
and there is, I believe, twice a year?
It's time to talk.
The end of the year.
the end of the year, maybe it's by October something, if someone is not going to use all of their vacation, they can sell it back to the town and get paid those days instead of taking time off. So we never know if anyone's going to take advantage of it. So in 2024, someone did. So far this year, no one has, but the cutoff for doing that is at the end of September, the end of October.
September, usually, I think it's September, I think that's what the contract says, it's September. They do a September, and then I think there's another one in December.
I was gonna say, I thought there
There's
was,
two opportunities for them to do it in the contract.
That's like a bad policy, though. Don't you want people to take their vacation
Yes,
and be normal people?
yes, but it's been in the contract before I got here. And it's something,
At
if
the
you
end
take,
of 2026, we should talk about it out.
well, then
new contract.
there'll be another ask in a different direction. So,
It will be.
so if it's only costing us $5,300 every other year or so, it might not be a bad thing to leave in, because the offsetting of like, then we want more money to compensate that we can't do that.
Cheers, okay. I used to make my employees make them take vacation.
Were they in a union?
No.
You have more discretion.
So we keep that. Because you never know.
Yep.
And then deferred comp. This looks like a,
What's deferred compensation?
That's where they can take some of this unpaid sick time, and they get to put it into it's a separate fund that is another, like, basically savings account for them.
It's like a retirement.
It's another retirement fund that they're able to take their unpaid.
There's two options, so they have a
Yeah, fine.
vacation day. They can either sell it back twice a year, or they can stick it in this account.
Mhm.
Right.
Got it.
Yeah.
That's another one where you don't really know what it's gonna be.
Mhm.
Well, it depends, on, I mean, like, for example, like when they're gonna negotiate it as their contract anyway, but like, there were days, when I worked with Jay wanted he wanted guys to be at work as much as they could be at work, you know what I mean? So he was like, if you don't use your vacation, he then sort of advocated for like, okay, come to work and then take your days and put them someplace for later on down the road for you, whatever. But some guys do it, some guys don't. Some guys don't even take advantage of their deferred comp.
That's the sick time. So.
Right, it's sick time, not vacation, it's sick.
Days, deferred compensation is sick time.
Right.
Oh,
So when people retire, do they get these,
Mhm.
They have,
we have a separate line item for that liability?
we have not historically built up a reserve for that. So what ends up happening, especially with PD, is, and we haven't had that many retirements out of the highway guys, but you end up with somebody at a higher pay level. So when they retire, especially in PD, since we plan ahead, we've hired, we're sending somebody to the police academy now in anticipation of future retirements. So usually they'll retire earlier in the year, so that then that salary gets reallocated from that salary line for that person down to these deferred compensation lines. So it covers that payout. The risk is if someone decides to retire in December, they've already expended their entire salary line. So then, yes, we would have a hit then for the payout. But we also try and anticipate that on who we think might be retiring.
Right. And we only have, well, in my time being here, we've only had, well, 3 guys that have gone, one retired early, wasn't as full, another one was, as Barry was full retirement, and then Rob was he was retirement slash one.
Yeah, we probably should be talking
But-
about individual names.
But they came, those guys came out, but only 3 guys I know came out. So,
Guy A, guy B.
yeah, we've still,
I was gonna say.
It's a cluster of.
There's a cluster of them, but they're,
In a few years, yeah.
well, they're still, most of them are,
We're all gonna hit 30 in the same 2 years.
yeah, but there's a few of them, yeah, that are. We've got, I think the closest we got right now, we got somebody that made 26 or 27 years, so that would be the next.
Dave at 31.
Oh, yeah, well, right, I
And
mean,
then
right, could go anytime. One could go anytime, really, but
Yeah, I was gonna say, I thought
So they can retire at 20, after 25 years? Okay.
30's your max. 30's where you get your
or just
most,
pay out.
your largest, but.
And if you stay after that, it just plateaus?
It's still,
I mean,
it does.
work for the highway department.
it's still a cruise.
Yeah, it does. But to your point, Gordon, we don't, we've been kind of, because we have such a small staff and can kind of plan these things, have not been setting aside money, except for years when it's like, okay, we know, like, when someone was going to retire a few years ago, I think we.
I'm assuming that would show up in the audit though, right? That your liability of retirement.
Yes, that's in the financial statements that are the full accrual, including other, post-retirement employee benefits.
Does that mean, should we put that in here? No, because it's not a current.
Right, that's not, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Miscellaneous equipment. Mine's all looped. In 23, it was 9,500. In 24, we spent 41,800. This year so far, we spent 500.
Yeah, yep. A lot of that was the scale house, I
I
think.
was gonna say,
Cameras.
yes, it's like the container for the scale.
Container for the scale house, the cameras that went into there.
We did a budget modification to,
Right,
That was, yeah, Brian had ordered that.
so most of that's narrow.
Yeah,
yeah, so if you took out the scale house, 2024 would have been, I wrote really 14,930.
right.
Okay.
Yeah, because without the scale house, we would have been below the budget from last year.
So far this year,
Took
oh, I was gonna say, yeah,
500.
when I was analyzing this, I only had the July numbers because I was working on this in August.
Right.
So we haven't closed August yet. It was very little, and then I think that bump up, I had 1,000, and that bump up to 16,000, I think is that mower.
Yes, the newest,
We did it,
right. And we just recently took another like 500 and change dollars and change out for additional
Scale house IT equipment.
IT
So we
stuff
split
now.
it with Kevin. It was $1,000 and we met him halfway.
So
Yeah.
how much have we spent on that line this year, Dawn?
I'm gonna pull up the details, and Shelby already,
It's more
ahead
than
of me on
500
this.
times.
Let me just look.
And I didn't submit the bill yet for the
Okay.
500 IT thing. It's coming up.
Okay.
Looking at the wrong line, never mind.
Yeah, I'm
I was looking at repairs. Yeah, we're,
Okay, so then it's.
I was looking at the wrong line.
Right.
So next year will be.
Yeah, I think 1,000 is okay.
Jetties, walls? What? The landfill has a jetty?
Yeah, those walls.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like to separate the commodities, yeah.
Oh. We should just call it walls.
Yes.
I should be all walls, yeah.
Bumper walls. All right, so we'll leave that as it is, miscellaneous.
Bless you.
Thank you. Solid waste carting fee.
We should go up a little bit to test wells and repairs. Are these are test wells in the old landfill area?
The test wells on the whole site. We had 1, 2, 3 additional put in this year.
Yeah, the DEC requires that there be test wells around the perimeter
Yeah,
in
so
order
it's
to
leaking out.
test, to see if there's anything leaching, so,
Well, why is it 0?
because they've been installed.
They've been installed.
Oh,
We
okay.
budgeted for that.
So about repair and maintenance and reading?
And that's under, that's under, there's another under for test well, for testing, I believe. Trying to see where-
Environmental 444.
Right, the environmental testing. That's for just they don't really need, they're basically a giant tube in the ground that they lower.
Pump or anything?
There's no pump or anything to them, they're just,
Let's take a sample and test it.
yeah, so, I mean, if we
There's 50,000.
ran one over, I guess. What's that?
There's $50,000 there.
Yes, because the new wells now, the new wells that they installed, different than the old ones that we still have, require more frequent testing. The old ones, I think, are biannually, and these are quarterly, I think.
Dare I ask, do they find anything when they test?
No, we've been good.
If they had found something, you would know.
Remember what I said that night, that part about the DEC is the ogre? Believe me, if they found something, they would tell you right away that no good. So, no, we've been, no,
Bueno.
it's been good. Not gonna lie.
Thank you.
Okay, oh, sorry, go ahead, Meg.
Oh, I was just saying, it looks like carting fees have gone up.
This is carting all the recyclables to the recyclable place?
No, solid waste and then hazardous
Right.
materials, so there's different trucking.
Yeah, so solid waste would not be the recyclables.
Right. So like
The-
C and D and.
Municipal solid waste, that's the,
Right,
like garbage, yeah.
wet garbage, and that's what we go out to bid for that each year.
And I presumed a 5.75% increase, because, and that was, 5.75% increase is what it was from 24 to 25, so I put in a similar number, increase for 2026.
And what's the future of that? Because right now it goes where?
Right now, it goes to the solid waste goes to,
National takes it.
National takes it, but they bring it to an incinerator, and it goes to,
Brookhaven or?
it's past Brookhaven. It used to be I'm trying to remember what the name of the company is, because it changed. It was just bought by another national company, but they truck it to, the part where Brookhaven comes into play with all of that is Brookhaven stopped taking the construction debris this year. Brookhaven is subsequently to the wet garbage side of things. Brookhaven is going subsequently at the end of 26, I believe, is no longer going to take the ash that is produced at the incinerators. So that means that ash is going to have to go someplace else, unless they can find something that it's got uses. There's been proven uses for it to be utilized in cement products and stuff like that. But But it's going to, just like the construction debris piece is a major component. It's going to trickle on down, because once that ash can't go there, that ash has to go someplace else. They'll still incinerate, but that price to get rid of the ash is going to go up.
Yeah, that's what I'm poking at, because with the changing sort of environmental handling of all this stuff, we're looking at price increases over the next bunch of years.
Yeah, I think definitely at 26 for sure, you're gonna see, I mean, at the end of 26, so in 27, if I'm correct on that date, I think it's the end of 26 when the ash, right? And I mean, we sat at that summit, I'm pretty sure it's 26. I know C&D was this year, but, so yeah, it's going to be, and I mean, they're working on alternatives and working on other transportation alternatives for this stuff, but it's, at the rate, right now, most of it's trucked out of here, off Long Island, I should say. There's still some rail system that's involved with it, but they're trying to expand the rail system to be able to take it. But it's a very circuitous route to even get rails, because you can't take this kind of material, you can't take it through tunnels and such. It's got to be all overhead. So they run it up the east side of Manhattan, across the river. They cross the river up in like Newburgh, Beacon area. Then they take it all the way south to like South Jersey, and then they train it across to Ohio, which is where a lot of this stuff ends up.
Ohio?
But it's a wild, like they go north and then they go west to go south, and then go back west again.
Collect it all.
Yeah, and it's like, there's not a straight shot for it. And there's not, and and Long Island right now doesn't have they don't have a expandable rail system in order to handle it. So it's going to be, and we know what traffic's like on Long Island. So just add more trucks to that. It's going to be an issue. But yes, it is going to trickle down.
I guess we're just looking at 2026, this is increased, but I guess we'll worry about the rest of it when we get there.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what the bids come in at this year too, when we put the bids out for what they're anticipating are gonna be from National Solid Waste, or whoever gets the bid, but they seem to have gotten it the last couple of years.
Is there any coming change in environmental regulations or how this waste is handled that's going to cause us logistical problems?
I don't know that it'll cause us logistical problems. I mean, it's gonna, again, they truck it out of here, whether the places, it'll cause a logistical problem when the places stop taking it. Right now, they're not gonna take, like Brookhaven won't be able to take that byproduct, like I said, which is the ash that comes out of the incinerator. But, if the incinerators, because those incinerators also, like, they work with the utility companies, and there's, they generate electricity, but there's always a battle about where that happens. And so you just never know. If they stop taking the stuff and decide to shut those incinerators down, then there's going to be a major logistical problem, because now you're going to be like, where are we taking all this garbage? And, it could be an issue, if those of you that were old enough to recall the barge in, what was it, 1985, I think, that was floated from up here all the way down to New Orleans and made its way to San Diego and then came all the way back. Like, it was kind of nuts. Yeah, they all only to just end up in the right place. But yeah, I think it could cause.
What they used to do was float them out into the middle of the ocean and dump them.
Yeah, well, I know, we don't want just that. But
I think there is something up at the state level that there's being appeals made by counties to the governor, because some of the parameters, the environmental protections and parameters that she's put on some things, they're trying to find workarounds. And so some of it could be the incinerator issue, being able to, there's things in there, and I haven't looked at this in months. So I don't even want to try and dive too deeply because I'll get it wrong, but they are rallying to try and do something different. And then there's also, if we can do something perhaps with Brookhaven National Lab, with the changes taking on place there with the accelerator, that they're going to require more energy. And so there may be a possibility, and they've got railroad tracks coming into there. So
Right.
we may be able to take some things there, have it incinerated there, and then the energy gets used on site there at Brookhaven National Lab. So County Executive Romaine is working on it with a bunch of people trying to pull together a group and affect some change that will help the entire region.
Now this line, 437, contingency for what?
It's a very small contingency, and that $3,000 will be used probably, we'll transfer that up for the generator that we needed.
Can you kill this line somehow? Oh,
No. I mean, it's small, but let's,
Should we label it?
well, it's contingency.
Okay.
I mean, it's sort of like our contingency. We have a $100,000 contingency right now in the budget. It's for the unknowns. So we've cut back on some things in different categories, so we might want to, like miscellaneous equipment, if we're taking it down, to 1,000, what if something bigger breaks that we need? Actually, no, I take that back. I'm not planning on using that contingency for the generator. I want to use that for the Scale House software in 2024, so that, Catherine, we can get that software up and running before year end.
Awesome.
Right.
I just need to sit down with you to go through again, like how much we need to cover between the,
I brought the proposals and then your analysis as well, just so we have those numbers.
because we want to, our software, I'll let, Catherine, I'll let you talk about it. You're the most up to speed.
The current Scale House software that we're using, the program is going to disable the billing function. So I'm no longer able to bill the accounts that come across the scale. On top of that, it's very outdated.
That's problematic.
And the program that we're looking to move to is SoftPack. So this is used by other municipalities and other garbage companies. Like, that's where I got familiar with it. It's like a green screen situation. Older guys at the scale, or men that have been there longer at the Scale House, have used it in the past. They said it was like the original program. So I think training will be pretty easy as far as the guys getting used to using it. And it'll allow me to continue to bill so we can have people with charge accounts at the dump.
Billing is important.
Yes,
Will it allow us to use credit cards at the dump?
I hope so.
Does it has that?
Yeah, I mean, it
function?
has the function as long as we can make it work. I'm not sure why it doesn't work now.
I think at one point we had to get some internet connectivity down there so that we
Okay.
could actually,
And now we're in better shape.
And we're gonna be,
So,
has worked on getting that
yeah.
upgraded,
There's
so.
a big cell tower right there.
Yes, but you still have to have the guts. in
you
this-
gotta have the wire, it's gotta go underground, so that's what we're working on, but.
That would be good.
Yeah. So that's something for, October, November, December, that Catherine has time to transition over to the new system software. So it's an unplanned expense for 2025, but has to.
And how much is that?
Did we decide the monthly was cheaper or yearly?
The yearly was.
Yearly,
Once
okay,
we
that
broke
makes sense.
down,
So year one is $20,280. I think that's with like about 16,000 as a one-time fee to implement everything. And then moving forward, it'll be about, I guess, year two is 3,700, year three is 38.
The annual fee is about $4,000.
Yep.
Implementation is $6,000.
yeah, and we have in here, what line is it on?
I think that's
In office and miscellaneous, I think.
484.
Yeah, so if you, 484.
So it's under there?
Well, yes, and
That's
so
why I
we'll
wanted
see
to-
part of that, the budget for 2025 was 10,300 and it's going up to 19,780. So that is the incremental cost of the new software.
This is billing
Spending.
software?
It's billing, and it's, so, when the truck goes over the scale, it captures the weight, it works with that. You can store truck weights, you can do more with the accounts, and I think we can do more with the commodities and like,
And and your receivables are done through QuickBooks, is that correct?
no, they're done through SMS right now.
SMS.
So this would have better reporting, in my opinion, more detailed reporting, things that we can customize to what we actually want to see.
So the shift from 10 to 20, if we're spending 10 now, that's gonna be fully replaced by the new system at 20?
Yes.
So.
So it's an incremental cost, so.
Yep. Now, if we go up a hauling C and D, this is the same as before. So right now, this is going where? The C and D? Is it going to Brookhaven?
The,
Iconic recycling.
right, seeing he goes to Peconic and what they do with it after that, I'm not really.
Yes.
They go to Brookhaven.
Yeah, well, they were going to Brookhaven, but no longer, they can't take it to Brookhaven any longer, so it's
Air
going,
tag in the truck. The next time the truck comes in, throw an air tag in there.
yeah, I don't know where the long-term place it goes. It probably goes to another transfer facility, and I know some of it does get loaded into the rail system that does exist, but.
And it goes to Ohio.
And eventually, yeah, a lot of things end up in Ohio, but Peconic takes it from us right now.
Okay.
And occasionally, sometimes it would end up at Crown if we needed to, sometimes pick something up west that was better, but Crown, burned to the ground a couple of months back. So that wasn't they had a big fire up there, it was bad. So, they're in Calverton, sort of just on the outside.
Calverton, did you say?
Yeah. But we used to utilize them when we wanted to pick up material, backhaul material. So we still pick up material, but now it's like just another stop along the way. And we now try to do most of that because of the condition of the walking floor trailer. We try to pick up we try to haul like metal and sometimes some of our cubed items that come out of the compressors and stuff. That's when we try to pick up material with our dump trailer then for that. Because the walking floor is what takes the C&D to Peconic.
Written advertising, I assume that's when there's an opening, a job, and
That is just for the stop days. The
Yeah,
hazmat.
days, yeah.
only once a month, right?
Yeah, so it's $173 a month for the ad.
Yeah, first
I'm the only
set.
one who realizes the day after.
No, you're not.
I'll plan all month just to forget. And then,
Yeah, it's this Saturday
Are you
then.
doing training?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's
October
Columbus
11th.
Day weekend, just so everyone
A few
knows.
phone calls.
Yes, October 11th.
Actually, I'll bring a poster today and
I'll be waiting outside the gate.
They'll be there tomorrow.
first come, first served.
I have the number from Judy if you want. For seasonal workers, the correct through number is 12,489. And that was getting posted to part-time.
And
So
that is through
I think that
August or September?
it's through September.
Through September, okay.
He's done now, so
And he's done now, that's it.
and then what does that make the landfill part-time? I should just subtract the.
Yeah.
18,469. Yeah.
Mhm. And the seasonal worker will continue into October for.
No, he's done now.
Okay, so that's the.
He goes to the 2 weeks after, 2 weeks after Labor Day.
So then that 30,000 goes down to 18,469. That's got a little September in there. All right, so then so we should take the seasonal up to 13,000.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
Yep.
And then that would take, let's see.
Landfill part-time though has been 41, it was 50,000 last year.
Back to that.
Last year we had Max.
Right.
Max was here for a while last year.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Now we
because,
just have the two.
yeah, we had time in January and February. Yeah, we had part-time
We had 3.
for the entire year.
There were 3 part-timers last year.
This
Now
year.
there's only
Now we have
two.
two.
Right.
Okay.
And I think even last year, I believe we had 2 seasonal guys, right? Didn't we have,
Patrick didn't go seasonal. We just had the one seasonal.
just the one was,
Yeah.
was the Ray again?
Yeah.
Or,
One of them
or,
stayed at 20 hours.
oh, right, because Max left that by that time
Yeah.
last year.
So maybe we put it to 40.
I was gonna suggest taking it down to 43,000,
Okay.
just swapping out that difference.
Right. Okay.
Anything else in landfill?
Professional services?
That we used
Or
for
engineering?
that day, and then we used it in 2024 for, it was like miscellaneous work to the scale house. I feel like it was a small electrical job that Dave couldn't do.
Right.
Yeah.
Shredder?
Yeah, so that's 1,800 a year.
And in 2024, we spent more because East End Pest Control was in there
That's what it was.
so frequently.
Yeah.
In the
We
scale
solved
house?
that problem.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Scale house is
new
pretty
scale?
No, no, this was the old,
The old scale house, yeah, it was,
the old scale.
It was very neat. It
Scary.
was a scary place.
the underneath was a very scary place.
All right, so then the.
That's
two
why,
should be
that's why I
fine.
took it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Should we move on to A fund revenues?
It's 30.
In A fund revenues, Ken did not submit like a proposal. He and I worked on this together. So that's why you don't see a column.
Oh, that's in Department proposed. Got it.
Mhm. Yeah, because it was easier for Ken and I to sit down and go through, like I was bringing up on in Williamson, what the historical stuff was. And I did a lot of extrapolation in different categories here. So my overall theory was I would look at the 2024 numbers to see where were we, just see. I was either using July or August, I can't remember when we did this exactly, it looks like July. So I would look at July 2024 and say, okay, what percentage, so C and D furniture in? I'd look and say, okay, for 2024, at the end of July, we had received in 77% of our revenues in, so far in that year. So then I would look at where are we for this year, and I'd look to see, okay, if this is 77%, what's it look like going forward? I would also look to see, was there anything special going on? Like, what if we just added in the same as last year to the existing, what number that would be? And then I also sometimes just look to say, like, okay, we're 7/12 into the year so far, what does that number look like? So kind of three different approaches, kind of smoothing out what I thought would be. So that's the theory applied to most of these, unless there was something special going on. And I think the only one that you questioned at one point was, I guess, brush and weed. Like I took that down quite a bit, but we're just hitting leaves, we're hitting leaf season,
Right, leaf season,
which it sounded like we started earlier last year, but
right.
a long-eared bat seems to be.
And brush, yeah, I mean, Meg brought up that long-eared bat, and that is real. I mean, there's also, you know, I mean, I haven't seen as much. There's definitely, generally July and August, there isn't as much clearing and everything going on for new projects because people don't want them in their yard or wherever they're doing something if they're doing a new, you know, if it's like an addition or that kind of thing to a renovation. And then there is the concern for some of the wildlife, I guess, during that period as well. But, yeah, I mean, there's
it's projected drop in revenue.
Yeah, it's just tremendous.
Oh, actually, yeah, that was a question. Brush in 2024, we had a huge number in May of 2024 for brush, 9,000. You were going to try and take a look at that figure to see, like, that looked to be the distorter in what was going on here.
Yeah, there was a lot, I mean, this is again, I mean, there's a lot of, because that's,
Were there just like more projects?
there were more projects and more, I mean, quite frankly, I mean, I don't know, I don't know if you drive, yeah, if you don't, I don't know if you drive,
Yeah.
We just,
I mean, there was a period of time last year that there was a contractor that was coming in 2 or 3 times a day with a 20-yard roll-off full of stuff.
Yeah.
During that May period of last year. But, you know, if you drive around Shelter Island, we're running out of places that people are going to be cutting down any more trees and clearing lots. There's not a lot left. So I think you know, I mean, of course, you know, we don't take stuff from off the island, try not to at least, unless somebody slips it in there on us. But, you know, it's hard to project as far.
Do you think it's going someplace else?
I think the guys that do it here, I don't think there's not a lot of places that'll take it. I mean, that are close by. I mean, they're very strict at
To truck
like,
it to, I mean, Matituck would take it, but to truck it there seems like
know.
more of an expense
right.
for someone.
But there's places like on the South Fork, like Wayne Scott Sand and Gravel used to take a lot of that stuff. They don't take it anymore. And they're very specific about, well, some of those places don't even take leaves. You know, they're starting to really,
What's the 23? Do you have a 23 number?
yes, it was,
154.
yeah, 155,000. Yeah.
yeah. So,
The week in May.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
okay. Well,
It was sometime between May 1st and May 7th of
Okay.
2024. You had
I'm curious.
103,000 basically.
I think I might be able to like tie it back to who. and
yeah,
find out
I have a
what
feeling what it
going
was.
on.
I have a feeling I know who it
There
was,
was a
so.
couple of larger projects that went in Hay Beach and Silver Beach
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
required a lot of clearing.
A lot of
So,
clearing.
Some of it is.
That makes a lot of sense.
Your receivable for that week is like huge,
Yeah,
so.
that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember the specific time or day, but I can tell you that it was a steady stream
I know
of
the
gigantic
project.
trucks, yeah.
Yep.
That were going into the place with a lot of material coming out.
Yeah, I mean, some of this comes into like anticipating building permits and construction projects and then seeing
Right.
how those are gonna lay out the rest of the
Projected to
year
be,
and then
yeah.
how that's gonna impact you.
And do you guys do that? Do you look at up the building department and lay it out?
I try to talk to the building department and see what's out there. I'm driving around here all day, every day, every weekend, and everything else too. And I see what's there and I know what's left. And there's not a lot when it comes
It's really the
to,
construction on vacant lots
right.
that has the
That
biggest.
has the impact on this,
And
right?
that- a lot of that started during COVID, a lot of those properties sold, and then they
Right.
started the construction last year, like the
Right,
clearing
and
last
it's
year for
wrapped
big
up now,
projects.
so we're
Yeah.
feeling it.
It's a lot of renovation work.
Right, but that doesn't.
Yeah.
But that's not the
require
brush.
Clearing.
Right.
Right, that's not the brush end so much, but
What about Perlman, because they've just started?
They didn't have to clear anything there. I mean,
They said
they're
there's a front lot, but then there's also gonna be work in the back.
working on that back lot already. I don't know I didn't see much come in from that. I mean,
They haven't had any recent, like, they
Yeah.
didn't have a September bill, so.
right. So, I mean, I've seen that they're actually, that building in the back is already under construction. Like they've got they're already working on the framing and such of that. But the front building, the one closer to Shore Road, obviously, there wasn't really any clear, I mean, maybe a tree or two, but most of that space was all taken up by the old building. So I think they're,
The back lot, they tried to plan it so there was minimal clearing, so I
Right.
think they kind of took that into account when they.
they also have a very large area back there where I think they bring brush and stuff back there themselves. That they've always, had for years.
They took a building down, and you got that debris as well.
No, we didn't see much of that. No, I think that was all,
This is brush in.
yeah, it's
C&D and is a different line.
Typically with a demo project like that gets trucked directly off island.
yeah.
Yeah, dumpster especially,
The dumpsters go
'cause
directly off island, they don't.
Yeah, they hire a company that comes and they load everything right there, dump it right in there and get rid of it. Take it out of here.
Is that more cost effective for them?
Yeah. It would also, like, something that large would inundate us with,
unless you already have like staff in place and you're trying to fill their hours for the week, you're definitely gonna pay more money for a dumpster.
yeah,
Yeah,
you can't, but they do it because they come in multiple trucks, lay multiple dumpsters down.
And when you're demoing a project like that, you have a chain of dumpsters and you're just.
Right.
I mean, it's,
See,
it
and
has a
somebody,
machine and it's going,
Right.
I mean, it's, yeah,
they took that place down pretty quickly.
yeah. Yes, I mean, that's the only one I kind of have a question about.
Mhm.
I want to go to the building department and see what projects they have coming down. I mean, I know a lot of the ones that they're looking at right now are already on, like, pre-established lots, like there's
Right.
already a house there, they're just doing major renovations.
I can speak to them as well.
Or even if you look at, actually, there's another one in Hay Beach, which will be clearing. But, so we might be able to bump it a little bit, maybe 150.
I would take it from.
Yeah, 150.
I can talk to them
I
about
know that's a vacant lot that will be cleared.
Mhm.
It's significant.
Do you want to propose that now or wait until you do a little more digging?
We can do more digging.
Okay.
I'll look to them.
Question mark next.
Yeah. Big one next to me is already done.
Mhm.
On the leaf compost, do you have 23?
Yeah, it's in the spreadsheet. It just,
13.
yeah, 1,300. Yeah, but if, in case you want, when you're on your computer, you can look at the
Okay.
spreadsheet, because we couldn't print out the columns.
Okay.
Like, too many columns, but
Okay.
Shelby kept the information for reference purposes.
Green concrete is low.
Concrete what?
It looks low compared to previous years.
Street opening permits. Why is there a revenue over here? Street opening permits?
Because when you have to do if people are doing, when they do underground electrical work, they have to apply to a permit with us, and we have to go inspect the site and see if what they're gonna do is gonna impact the road at all. So like, then when they're doing directional drilling under they're taking a line off a pole to move it underground, and they have to open up the roadside, they have to clear it with us first.
Do you think concrete in looks low?
Well, last year it was about, well, in 23 it was 12,000, in 24 it was 16, and this year we have it at 8 is what we're,
Oh,
like, so
oh,
far,
clean concrete.
clean concrete.
Okay, I'm looking at the wrong one.
Um,
So concrete in.
Yeah, we estimated 12 last year.
Yeah, last year we had,
But
like 73% of it had come in by July 31st.
Yeah.
So
we just didn't have
extrapolating
that
out this year, we had 7,300 versus 5,600 this year, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
We don't see much that's really clean concrete. It's usually a mix
Right,
Mhm.
okay.
of, concrete, asphalt, bricks, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
all kind of thing.
Nine RCA.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really have questions on anything else.
Just to highlight, if you go down to sales of light iron, 2655E, I believe that's the metal.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we had budgeted 25,000 for the whole year. Now that we're not, we've gotten much criticism about closing the metal area for picking. However, we do get revenues from that.
Mhm.
And so, in talking to legal, unconstitutional gift, letting people just walk off with it, we are able, we're projecting that we'll be closer to 33,000. So that's bringing in $8,000 worth of revenues into the town coffers.
this is from not letting them pick it off the C and D.
Off of the metal pile. They're two separate piles. Yeah, they're next to each other. I know it gets blurred sometimes in the vision, but it's, yeah,
That's where the
they're,
bulkheads come in.
yeah.
Bins,
Those jetties that would,
Yeah.
our land jetties are separating that stuff, yeah.
I just highlight that because Ken did think through the impact of that, what we were doing there on the town's financials.
Dredge materials. We're not anticipating a lot of dredging next year.
Nothing that's where they're gonna, some of the things that happen with the county, the dredge materials is usually maybe one of the dock building companies may call us, and say, last year we had they did some work down at the yacht club, I think, they did some dredging, it might have been last year, or the year before, I can't remember.
Year before.
But when they did, so they'll contact us. I remember the guy that was he was the environmental guy, and that I know him from Southampton, but he asked about can we take some of that material as long as it's, clean? So generally we'll do that. Those are small amounts though. The larger projects that come down to the county, like when we do the county dredging projects with them, the county permits to do that stuff are very specific about where that material can go. So unless they specify that we can take it off site, we don't. It stays where it's supposed to stay. So, but that number is from if we had a company and we know it's pretty clean sand or it's not some kind of mucky, something that we can't reutilize, for backfilling or something like that, we'll take it. But there's not a tremendous, I don't think I've even gotten a call this year once about it. Maybe one from Jack at one point from Custer to do it. And anticipating the bulkhead, for example, that's, like I said, most of that bulkhead is landward side. And when they put the actual bulkhead, the actual sheathing in place, they jet that into place anyway. So there's not a lot of excavation of that area to do that.
So if there's dredging that's clean, they pay to give it to you and then you can resell it?
We can resell it if somebody wanted to buy it and they wanted some sort of sand material, but we generally would use it, if it's good sandy material, we can utilize it for something, any kind of maybe backfilling, or if we need fill for an area for something, but it's available to us. And sometimes people do buy it. Sometimes these guys are doing maybe might be doing a project and they want sand and rocky material, so we can sell it, but it's there.
And sometimes, they dredge over here and then someone's building a bulkhead over here and then you can backfill that bulkhead.
Right.
But the town's not the middleman there, is it?
No, sometimes those are worked out between themselves, how they do that, company, depends especially if they're operating from the landward side and they have they have the equipment, they have a excavator, they have a dump truck, that can be worked out to do something like that. But we generally don't, it's an infrequent ask, I should put it that way. It's an infrequent ask that people ask to even utilize the dredgings that we have, and we don't have that many opportunities to take that many of them. Sometimes the ones that we do take are what we'll work with, like the Southbury Hills Association. They dredge their material. Their association pays for the dredging and the material, and then they work with us it's not a huge amount of material. They work with us to take that dredging, and then we take it, and then we can utilize it for stuff that we need. So it's a win-win for us, really. And it's not a huge amount of material.
Yakima didn't dredge in 2025, but there will be dredging in 2026.
Yeah.
So
I think we took.
see if you can use that.
Yeah, I will. I mean, because I'm trying to, I did have the conversation in '24 about whether they, if they needed to get rid of any of it that they didn't, that they couldn't use elsewhere, that they could bring it to us, so. But I will definitely keep that in mind.
The next one I have is cold patch sales.
Yeah.
I felt like 12 was a little low. I put it up to 14, just because.
Let's start with, what is it?
So cold patch is actually, it's cold, and it's cold asphalt patch, so, yeah. So it's got, it's for repairing potholes, generally what we use out on the roads when we're not using hot material. We have a box, that trailered box that we can put hot asphalt in as well, that we get from the asphalt plant at Corzini. But we buy this, we get it in truckloads that we go pick up and bring back, and it's what we use to fill our normal potholes with. People can purchase it because, and it happens a lot with the driveway openings, which we also are involved with. The building department issues a permit for the driveway opening. So if somebody's building an apron at their driveway, right? They have to, we also, a member of our staff, they contact Catherine in the office, and then usually one of our foremen go and look at, or myself, go and look at to make sure that they're significant number of inches off of the roadway, so that when we're plowing, we don't hit the Belgian block and stuff. But so that gap, which has to be a minimum of 18 inches that we ask for, once they excavate that, in order for them to meet the road, they usually come and buy cold patch and fill that, for lack of a better term, a trench that will then butts up to their area that they've just put in, like a Belgian block apron or a brick apron. So and we do actually, a lot of it gets utilized by landscape companies and the guys that do masonry work, that stuff, so.
Yeah, just looking at the trend, last year it was 1,900. This year we've already made 1,400, so
Yeah,
maybe keep it at 14.
okay.
Yeah, just because we sold more in August. Because when I suggested that number, we were only in July, and it wasn't looking so good.
Yeah, it's definitely, they definitely use it. Because we just got a new load of it just recently, and I think it's already slightly depleted, not just from us fixing potholes.
So then maybe we could go to 16.
I mean, it was 19 last year.
It was, yeah. I've seen a lot of driveways.
There's a lot of driveways.
Yeah, because we almost, we only had $700 in through July 31st. So then we doubled it in August with another 700, so.
So 16?
16.
Does anybody do cold patch after?
It
It might have been.
It becomes,
Cold.
yeah, it starts to get a little cold for the cold patch.
Like as of November, probably.
Even though that seems like actually, yeah, no, it has been. Let's see.
It's been a good month.
It's actually probably warmer outside than it is in this room, actually, right?
Very nice.
It's gonna be 70 today.
Last year we did do another 700.
Yeah,
September, October, November, not in December.
yeah, you want in December, it literally doesn't become fly. Yeah, because it's got oil in it, it's mixed into oil and it's, tacky and sticky, but it can get affected by, it can become a rock pretty easily, yeah. And the oil dries out and doesn't make it it doesn't bind as well, so then it just kind of blows out the potholes. Yeah.
Keep going, I'm just gonna step out for a second. Okay. Tentatively, people joining us at 11:30, I want to just push that back.
Yeah, 11:30.
I don't know.
Ooh.
The other one I had a question about. No, I guess I didn't. Ground chips and mulch. You guys had 32.5, the budget. We've already made 30,000.
Yeah, I'm just trying, what do I always see?
655.
Yeah.
It was 46,000 in 23, 34,000 in 24. We've already made 30. Now, we're getting into mulching season, right?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, they still do mulch, and it's more topsoil, I think, this time of year. But people still do mulch because if they're
Clearing on
doing
their plants for.
clear around their plants, they could put more mulch. But
It's mostly done.
I think it's mostly done. There might be some, but most of it's the hot time for the mulch is the springtime,
Right.
and when they're doing all the so.
So we'll leave it at 32.5.
Yeah. It's another one, mulch is gonna be something, I mean, a long-term look down the road for mulch is gonna be a thing because, it's a problem in a lot of places, there's no other, not like,
No way.
everybody says, oh, you could give it to somebody else, but they don't take it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they don't, lots of places won't take it anymore, as far as like, oh, we've got too much, so truck it over there, but.
Is there a way to market it better? That's what I mean, because everybody uses it.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. I mean, I think we do. I mean, we go through a lot of it, and believe me, there's a lot of it up there on that hill, but it just is, it depends, what people want. Some people are a little more finicky with it, but we do get rid of quite a bit of it. It just, you'd be amazed at how much goes out, but it does also reproduce because when we bring all that brush in and then we grind that stuff all up, that's what happens, but.
So mulch is the rabbits of wood chips.
Yeah, it really is. We've got a lot. I mean, we're fortunate too. We're lucky that, we have it. We do get rid of a number of it because we have a certain amount, under the DEC permit, you can only keep a certain amount up there anyway. And that's part of the inspections that they provide, when they come.
Have to have a certain inventory.
No, well, you can't exceed a certain amount. You can't exceed a certain amount. But they just were out not that long ago and they're very impressed with our operation up there, how it works. And we're lucky. We have a great operator and a great, with the equipment and everything, and they keep those rows constantly being flipped for the topsoil and the leaves, but they're always very impressed with what they see when they come up there for us, so.
It seems like, because, you see people going to Home Depot to buy mulch.
Right.
It seems like it's a marketing problem.
Yeah, I don't, maybe if we bagged it, maybe people would like it better in a bag.
And that's a cost.
But then that's also a single-use plastic that we don't want to discuss.
Green, yeah.
Compostable bag.
Right, a compostable bag would be good, just lay it in and let it break down in your garden.
Okay, sorry. No, that's okay. Wasn't you.
Could I use the restroom just for a sec?
Yeah.
question I had, my last question in this category was,
Okay, wait, if Gordon's going back out, we won't have a quorum again,
well,
so.
we will, there's
No,
three.
No, there's three of us,
It was
never mind,
three.
never mind,
It was
you can
just
finish
before.
doing what you're
I'm
doing.
here too, Amber.
Okay. Alex, my brain's going in different directions, can't count, sorry.
I had questions about understanding the DEC hazmat line. Is that a reimbursement we get?
Yeah, so when Catherine was saying that we do the stop ads in the paper, we get money back from the DEC for that. But I think there was like a question, and we can ask Jen Messiano, but they were gonna like stop doing that program at some point, so maybe that's why we put in 0, because they probably know too.
So, okay, wait, 24, we had nothing, and we ended, then we changed, with actual, we got money in, 60
Right, we
grand.
got 60 grand in.
And that was a grant? We think?
There was a
That
journal
income?
entry,
Yeah,
that would help you. It came from the auditors
yeah, we can ask them.
and from the contract accounts.
Right.
Yeah.
Like 2023, we had 15,500 come in.
Mhm.
And then in '24, we had 60,400 come in. So
Now we're at 36.
we're at negative 36,782.
That's a negative,
Yeah, well-
But I'm thinking there's a reimbursement that we get at some point. I'm just wondering what the calculation is for it so that we can.
yeah. It's not clear where the income's coming from.
Correct. But it is part of the STOP program, which is the hazmat program, but I do remember there being changes coming to that program. I just don't remember what they were. Ken,
We must have gotten more money in August then.
my question, to Amber was the New York State DEC hazmat line, where the number is random, it looks like a reimbursement for maybe the STOP program.
Yes.
In 2023, we had like 15,600 come in, but then in '24, we had 60,400 come in. And I'm just trying to anticipate what the line means for this year, because right now it's at negative, but I figure there's probably money that comes back to us.
I think that is, that's also part of isn't it part of that grant money that we get back from the household hazardous waste,
Right.
so,
Is there?
which we got.
Catherine?
We got-
The DEC, the hazmat money that we get back. I know that's why we submit, like the newspaper ads.
Right, the HHW.
Right, and we got,
And I thought there was talk at some point that they were gonna stop that grant funding.
not that I know of, I'd have to ask Jen maybe. I'd have to ask maybe Jen Messiano, I can ask her about that.
There's someone coming in at 1:30.
No, I asked Christina to call Nancy Green, and Thomas was gonna join us for the work session part.
Gotcha,
Nancy thought it was at 3:30, not 11:30,
okay.
but we'll see. We'll see, because we still have the DA and DB funds to go through, so we may want to take a break and come back, reconvene after lunch, taking a lunch break or something like that.
Like reconvene at 1:00 and then finish the budget and then go into a work
Yes,
session.
that's what
And then
I'm
that will
starting
work
to
with the
think.
3:30 time.
If does that work for
That's working
people's
for me.
schedules or?
No, not today, fortunately. I have, yeah,
At your disposal. So that'll be something we can check with Jen at the next capital planning meeting.
Yeah,
Yeah, because it's something that she talks about, but it's something that we, at capital planning, just like, oh, we know that that's going on, but it's not something that we're actively managing.
It's just a grant that
She's found, yeah, that she found and got for the town. Yeah, we did get another 12,000 in.
yeah, so I think in February, we received 2023, and then in August, we received 2024. But then I have to look what that other journal entry is from the accountants.
Yeah, they bumped something into that journal entry. Was recording it in 2024 and then they're reversing it in 2025. So that might just be the receivable then. And we haven't received the full 60,000. Will we receive that whole 60,000? Yeah, let's,
Where we're getting that number from.
yeah, we'll talk.
2023 number was 11,500.
Yeah, because this year was,
2024 was the 12,000.
it was a 12 and change.
Yeah, and it looks like in August, she posted the reversal of that 2024 journal entry. The 60,400, that's why it's negative.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, that's a larger number than we ever had.
Right, okay, that's a.
I've never seen them be that big.
So we'll check on that.
Yeah. Okay.
They have that as a due from state and federal at 12/31. So that amount seems weird. All right.
And I feel like it might, yeah, I don't know if that's her recording of the receivable, if she's pulling it from different lines, different state and county lines, and sometimes we could rejigger them. Is that it for the A fund revenues? I think so. Okay, so taking a pause for a minute, we have DA and DB to go into. Trying to schedule things, what should we, how should we proceed with the rest of our day?
I'm okay to keep it going, and I'm free to do whatever we need to. I feel like a lot of these, I guess special needs are there, okay, so a lot of this is personnel, but.
It's a lot of personnel.
They're pretty small and it's a lot of personnel.
Okay, so you can go till 12:30. Gordon, what's your availability?
Sorry,
What's your availability? Benjamin said he can go.
I'll make it work.
Okay, yeah, I just canceled a phone call that I had for later.
Come back at 4.
Well, the things that we wanted to accomplish with the rest of this work session was, one, finishing DA and DB, so we don't have to have Ken and Catherine come back, but we also were going to do a brief pharmacy update and discuss the community event that Health and Wellness is now hosting over at the Firehouse on Sunday. So,
I think that's more important.
Yeah, it seems to be a bit of a, I mean, that's happening Sunday, so we should talk about it now. We can reschedule this and, I mean, it's not ideal, but yeah,
yeah, but at least we've got a clean break at this point.
yeah, let's break it.
Okay.
And drag Catherine and Ken back in,
Yes.
kicking and screaming.
Yes, let me just pull up the calendar. We're not having any meetings next week.
Right.
Humbug. No, we already went through everybody's.
We have the 6th, 9 to 11.
No, we don't.
No, that, yeah, that got put in the Outlook calendar, but then Amber checked back in with me and I said, no, Benjamin
And Albert are
will
both out.
both not be here.
Yeah.
You have no time next week out, Ken?
No, I have surgery on Tuesday. I'll be under the knife getting parts replaced, then I'll be out.
And then you don't know about your recovery time, so that's why we didn't schedule anything for next week.
Unlike, as reported on Facebook, I will not be traveling on vacation.
Oh, okay.
I'm just curious,
So,
do we anticipate a lot in DA and DB since most of it's personnel? I mean, do you want to try to go through this in the next, I mean, what time do you have to leave, Ben?
In 45 minutes.
Yeah,
I'd rather,
I mean,
yeah.
well, the following week I'm not here, so that's gonna be a problem.
Okay.
So,
13, but like.
yeah, I'll be gone. I leave the 14th. So if we can't do next week, then we're
Can we do it the 13th?
Well, it's Columbus Day, we're closed.
pretty close.
Yeah.
It's like, I have a big X on that day.
Yeah. Mine's highlighted in yellow, says don't come in.
And then we had scheduled the 22nd.
Yep. We have the 22nd scheduled as a budget meeting. But then we have to post, right, so we have to submit notice to a public hearing by the 24th.
Mhm.
So we need to have it wrapped up by the 22nd. Well, I guess not really, we can
We have to
still
have it
work
wrapped
it,
up.
but we have to have it wrapped up
By the 24th.
by the 24th.
Yeah, because it has to go in the paper for the
Right.
30th.
Right. Because I have all day the 23rd, but we can add more time. So, all right. Which is in the DA.
I know, I was gonna say, I mean,
Yeah,
we can probably, yeah, DB is roads.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's roads, and then we'll have some breakdowns.
There's really not a lot of
Yeah, yes,
wiggle room or changes.
Mhm.
That's what I'm saying. There's not much.
If they review it themselves and if we have questions.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, because I mean, DA has the mechanics in there, personnel, longevity, deferred comp, overtime, double overtime, equipment.
And that's all union contractors.
Yeah, and then we got fuel, machine repair, oils, fluids, grease, grinder maintenance repair, uniform clothing allowance, and cell phone. Refurbishing equipment, brushing weeds.
It's all contractual stuff, and then it's outside contractors.
The biggest one is snow and sand. Go to page 46.
Is that where, that's interesting, because I guess, money gets moved around, but there hasn't been a lot of snow.
Right.
And so,
When we needed to go work at Goat Hill, is that where the money came from?
No.
No?
No, we didn't take anything out of snow for Goat Hill. No.
yeah, so in 2024, the total for snow removal personnel services, which is basically the overtime, it was 50,000. Last year, I cut it to 32,000. And this year, since again, we haven't had snow events, I was being ruthless and cutting it to 16,000, which I figured Ken might want to,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd advocate for keeping it at 30, only because this is another one of those areas, and then that would be up to, it would be up to you guys. Like, if we have another light winter and we don't utilize that, then that's great. But if all of a sudden we get hammered and we go over, then my question is to you, then how do we take care of it? I mean, maybe we don't have to put it at,
Isn't that what you have a contingency fee for? The contingency item?
$1,000?
I don't have a contingency item in here at all in snow.
Nothing here, okay.
put in a contingency for the DA fund.
Well, it's showing in the Farmer's Almanac for 25, 26. I did this last year and it said it wasn't gonna be snowy. It's showing a cold and snowy
Right.
season for us.
There's also a lot of acorns on the ground.
It says.
That's another theory. The amount of acorns,
Actually,
the amount of,
substantially more though.
there's a lot of acorns, and they say when there's a lot of acorns coming out of trees like that, you could have, the deer are eating acorns like crazy. So I'm just saying, I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball, but it's been, look, I mean, I've sat through these before with my predecessors as well. I understand we can't predict the future, but I think we have to be, as long as you're okay that if all of a sudden, I get a blizzard and we only have $16,000 in there, if you got a way to fund it, then that's fine. But I prefer to be a little on the safer side.
The Farmer's Almanac is telling me that frequent snowstorms in New England should keep snow lovers happy. Areas up and down the Atlantic coast will see significant rain mixing with snow from time to time. The Mid-Atlantic region is forecasted to see some decent snow, especially for areas in the mountains.
So,
More
Yeah,
inland
but
estimate.
coastal areas need less now.
I know, but I also look at the map.
yeah.
It shows us chunked in really snowy.
I mean, I don't know, maybe we split the difference. Maybe call it, maybe you call it $22,000 instead of 16.
Did we have any snow didn't we have some snow expenses this year?
We had some snow this year, but,
I don't see anything here, that's why I'm asking.
under salt and sand, we have a lot of salt because just because we don't have snow doesn't mean we're not gonna apply salt on the roads. If there's a little bit of snow, we're gonna put salt down. We're not gonna plow and not plow. If there's a little bit of snow, enough snow to put a plow down on the ground, we're gonna plow it, then we're gonna salt it. Then there's other days where it's just cold and maybe it rained and you've got black ice in places, the police call, they're out overnight and say, hey, I just went around the turn at IGA and it's slick, you gotta go, So we put out we use salt and sand a lot, regardless of whether we get a blizzard or not, so.
This was a mild winter we just came out of.
Right.
For the last two,
I know.
and according to the acorns, we're due for snow.
Maybe people, it depends on what you're looking at.
Let's check salt and sand for a minute. You've spent almost 31,000 this year, because I know you had a contract.
Yes, we have a contract.
So what does our inventory look like at this moment, like right now, and what do we do for next year? Like, we're locked into a contract for this year and we haven't used any, so.
Yeah, well, we have the ability to store 200 tons of salt and sand combined.
How much do we have?
We have we're pretty full with what we have right now, but that can be decimated in one storm. But we are under contract with Atlantic Salt to get, we have to estimate a tonnage every year. And so we've estimated the same tonnage, and if you don't have the storage capacity for the tonnage, they keep it for you. And if you don't use it, they charge you for the storage fee. It's one of the greatest things. And you're only allowed, and municipalities in the state of New York are only allowed to get it from within the state of New York.
State contract.
Atlantic has the whole contract, so that's the thing. And so you have to estimate, and if you underestimate, like you say, okay, we're only going to use 80 tons of salt this year, and then we use 120, they crack you for the last 40. Like the price goes up, much higher than you do it. So it's a little bit of Brian did the same thing. He tried to talk me through it as far as this is, it seems to be a consistent number that we've had, that we can utilize it because we can house it once we get it, but it's.
Well, right now, we're full on storage.
Well, we're actually full on sand and salt mixture. We've got some room in the salt bin and some room in another salt. There's 2 bins that we can isolate just for salt. But full now doesn't mean it's October. It could be, you gotta remember, we're also talking about, we get into November and December, we could be, you never know what could happen. We could be having icy nights and have to use it a lot now between the end of the year too.
Is there a timing requirement in the contract? You have to draw down a certain amount of salt by December 31 or?
They
I forget what the date is, but there is.
They want to know when you're going to be able to take it next. What you're going to be able to take in your next, load for it.
We don't know when it's gonna.
And if we don't have room for it, because we don't have a giant cone like these places that have these giant cones you see on the side of the road, we have a very specific building for it. So it's not, It's hard to do. And, and if you go over, they have very specific heights and requirements. That stuff can't exceed a certain height inside the building.
Do you have to make this commitment?
Avalanche.
We make the commitment we've already made the commitment for this year. I mean, we factor it in for the next year. We just put in our number for the,
Early summer.
Yeah.
late Spring, that you have to make this commitment by.
yeah,
This coming winter?
yeah.
What do we make, what was our commitment for?
We did the same amount, was it 150?
Yeah, 150.
We're completely paid up for 2025.
Mhm.
And my budget figure, 28,000, should be up to 31,000, is what I'm hearing.
I think so.
I do not like this system.
No, it's crazy. I mean, they've got you.
It's kind of like, yeah, I got a deal for you.
And it's not like it's not readily available for you. It's not like you can just go, okay, let's go grab a couple of truckloads of salt. They truck it in for you, and it all comes, most of it comes from Staten Island.
Sounds like we need one of those cone things.
Yeah,
Where are we gonna put that?
yeah, where are we gonna put that guy? Not gonna happen.
Is there another area we could store a little bit more if we had to, or?
We have not, it's gotta be undercover, and we don't have anything undercover to do it.
Okay.
And there's also very specific guidelines to the storage and using it.
Yeah.
So you can't, and that comes from the Department of Health. They inspect your salt storage bin and your salt sand storage area to make sure, oh yeah. Yeah,
Make sure you don't have like runoff problems and things like that.
right.
Catherine, can I task you with looking at the personal services? So if we keep the budget at the 16,000 that I proposed, how many storm events? Like if you're thinking about, call outs and overtime rates and things like that, how many storm events does that cover? That way we translate it to something that we can tangibly think about. Yeah. So we will release you for today. So we move on to regular stuff.
If you have further questions, you'll.
Yeah, I'll get back to us next week, or not next week, but the following week with that one figure. That shall communicate it, and we can always call you in and have you just tell us how to do your assumptions if we need to.
Okay.
I don't think we will.
Thanks, everybody, for your time.
Thank you. Wait, Shelby, you have an extra book for whoever comes in, they
Well,
can,
yeah, Amber Wilson gave it to me, and I said, I'll keep it on hand, so.
Thank you, have a good afternoon.
See you, everybody. Thanks again.
Thanks.
Remember with the reduction of this budget that this year of that we're down to 1.78. I'm sorry, it was 1.78. It goes down to 0.3. What's the impact here on the overall budget? Am I correct to assume?
no, he was comparing his proposed expenditures to then what my changes were.
Okay.
So it has no impact on the 2.2.
So we're gonna stop for now with the budget?
Yes, we're starting with the budget. I think Thomas is supposed to join us. Something got lost in the communication. Nancy Green thought we were going to be discussing this at 3:30. not 11:30. So I don't think she is available. Let me just- And because it was a regular work session, going back into a regular work session, Thomas said he would join, but I don't, it's not like a regular work session, so.
Thomas is not responding.
Okay, all right, so, but it's not anything that he needs to. The only thing that I had, originally wanted to check on him was if we were moving from a budget work session, because those are special sessions, to make sure that we could move into a work session, what the notification requirements were. But when he checked into it, he said, we were fine to, as long as we posted that we were going to be doing this. And yeah,
Because this meeting was already noticed.
yes, exactly, so we were
We're
good.
just changing the agenda.
Yes. So let me bring up I update this online. So on the pharmacy closure, we did push out and, as I was sending everybody up, email or text messages or, phone calls yesterday, or people stopping into the office in, past couple of days, where we stand. Why is this one?
Yeah, I've been here all morning, but one of the pieces I'm working on the permanent solution,
Yep,
not the immediate solution.
Right.
You should have gotten a phone call.
I did.
Okay, so
Yes.
that happened.
Yes. And actually, there's a phone call that I wasn't able to take this morning. So, yeah, I mean, in looking at this problem, the pharmacy closure, we've got two things going on. We're trying to meet work on the immediate need. And so, with respect to, so the Solar VF group is confirmed that they're not going to delay the paving. So,
I got that
We-
message
yeah,
separately
I was
too.
going to say, we put that out, yesterday when I finally heard from them. I've also talked, sat down with Kelly and worked on what our grant-funded programs could do, expanding things, whether or not we could do delivery pickup at South Holden and bring it back to the senior center. The insurance company got back to me and they were like, that is not a good idea from a liability point of view. You should not be taking custody of these drugs. We are doing it on a very limited scale under the shopping assistance program. So seniors who, they have someone go to Target, Walmart, Costco, BJ's, whatever, they are,
They have to be homebound.
yes,
in
they
order
have to be
qualify.
homebound, to be eligible. So we've put, if you go to the town website, we do have the pharmacy closure update there, so people can see the flyer that we have on the shopping assistance. So,
That wouldn't include Schedule 1 trucks.
well, that's, where the insurance company's digging deeper. They're on
On
a.
the shopping assistance
on a-
program?
Well, we may have some cover under the grant itself,
Okay.
because it is a county-funded grant, so there may be some liability coverage. So that's continuing to be looked at. When I spoke to the insurance company and I said, there's 9 people in that program currently. So, they were like, for the moment, don't change anything and I said, we're not even picking up prescriptions, I don't think right now for them. So it may not end up coming to fruition, but at least we're trying to make sure that for those homebound seniors that we have something, if we can do something legally.
And they might not even have Schedule 1 deeds.
Correct. That's the other thing. So,
Right.
And there's 9 people.
yes, yeah. So we're going to work with, on that. For seniors without mobility issues, but that don't feel comfortable driving off island, we have our AAA transportation program.
Right.
So we have something, and, we've fortunately hired a few more drivers in the past few weeks. So, like John Cronin, who was just here. So they can take people, especially for those drugs that they need to pick up them in person themselves.
Yeah.
We have some coverage there. Then Sag Harbor Pharmacy, We met with them, we went over our needs, what they were able to deliver, and they are going to ramp up their delivery service to Shelter Island to 5 days a week. So it is the SAG, they own both Colonial and Sag Harbor. It's the Sag Harbor Pharmacy. But because they're owned, if someone calls Colonial, Colonial will say, no, you need to actually call.
They're making house deliveries.
Yes, and they're going to deliver to the house. So it takes that out of our hands. It takes the liability out of our hands. They usually have a $5 delivery fee. They are waiving that. And so that.
They do that now also? I mean, has this been something that hadn't been in place? I mean, I might hear $5, it's like, wow.
I know, I think they've had delivery service, it's been mostly on the South Fork, but they're now going to expand it to Shelter Island.
So
So
that's new.
that piece is new. They did ask if there was any break that could be had on the ferry costs to, go from a non-resident rate to a resident rate. I called South Ferry, but it sounds
I
like
talked
you.
to Cliff.
Cliff,
Yeah.
Okay.
he's agreed to do it, I'm not sure what. but-
I talked to Cliff about this yesterday, and he said that's absolutely not a problem, and he would negotiate directly with the pharmacy for their rate. So he's gonna take care of that. I said, I told him, there's a chance we can raise money to help offset expenses for this, and he says, absolutely not. So he didn't want to hear anything about that. But he said he'll negotiate directly with the Sag Harbor Pharmacy to cover whatever needs to happen.
And then I also did circle back to Southold Pharmacy, just because of the relationship that they had to Shelter Island, to make sure that they, like if they were going to do any delivery service, but they are just going to continue to deliver the oxygen and medical equipment, part of the business that they do. And that's on a limited basis, so they may be over here like once a week. So they did not want to start adding delivery of prescription medicines to individuals. Maybe down the road, if, something changes. I also had Greenport Pharmacy reach out to me. Don't think Judy said that anyone's called me back on that yet. There was whoever they left a message with said, oh, we might be able to send a, kid over on a bike or something. It's like, we need something a little bit more solid too, before we want to put that out there and have our residents.
We'll buy him a new skateboard.
Yeah, I mean, I think they probably were just saying kid instead of, young person or, but anyways.
Let's take him on a bike and send him over.
Yeah,
No.
but, I'm sure they have something a little bit more serious in mind, but I haven't had a chance. So if we have more options from people, I've also had people reach out to say, they ordered through CVS online delivery on Tuesday and they got their prescriptions on Thursday. So the senior center is going to work with any seniors who have trouble doing those kinds of signups for themselves. So we have that out there.
So Solaviv does not want to extend it.
No,
And the building is not for sale, or
the building is for
Yeah,
sale.
it is for sale.
They're willing to sell it or lease it. So there is a contact person if someone,
is that the one you sent over this morning, I think?
Yesterday, yes. So that way, if someone approaches any of the town board members, you have the contact person. I didn't want to put that person's cell phone number out there in space, so they can call town hall. I'm going to give it to Judy. I don't know if I.
Are we going to file a complaint? Our attorney, obviously that legislation was not in place, okay? Okay, so, but the issue is we still have the ability and the right to do that. I think we should do that. I mean, this is really not, it's, for a company that's supposed to be community oriented, and we love Shelter Island and all this other stuff, I think we should at least file a complaint.
And that,
There are people who are going, who are writing letters to the public relations company that handles Sullivan. So they're going in a different direction of trying to let them know that it's not good PR for them to have a town stuck like this. So we should probably, I don't think there's any reason why we shouldn't file a complaint, even if it goes no place.
and that complaint was with the pharmacy.
Pharmacy, yes.
Yes. If you want to pursue that, I would love for you to pick that up. My thought when I, looked at it and talked to Thomas about it for a couple minutes is they are getting out, this is the only pharmacy that they run, so they're getting out of the
Right.
business. So usually if you file a complaint with the state ed pharmacy department, they would get slapped, but if they're not in that business anymore.
But you know what, how they're handling our town, that really is not acceptable, okay? Meaning,
Yeah, but if,
so there's no downside of filing it, no downside of people reaching out to their PR. Is this how they want to handle their corporate image?
would you be willing to take that, follow up with Thomas?
Well, yeah, I know, yes.
Okay, that would be good. Yeah. Yeah, because I'm trying to offload what I can, you've been working behind the
So
scenes.
we somewhat have a temporary solution.
Yes, we think that most everybody will be covered in the short term. So the short term, getting the prescriptions filled on Wednesday, we've got that covered.
And there's a number of people that I've gotten calls for who really want to financially support something just very similar to Ben, what you're talking about, okay? And, but as long as Colonial's delivering it, what came to my mind is that if we needed a place of a distribution of, where they needed a place to come and Sag Harbor didn't have a place, there's nothing wrong with renting a portable trailer of some type so that they have a place, a location to work from.
Yeah.
And that would be an easy solution.
I mean, I can give you
I was gonna say, yeah, so
Deal with
that's,
that.
yeah, so we've taken care of the short-term issue, so now switching over to the long-term,
Right.
fix on this is we do want to see if we can have a
on
on
island
island
solution,
solution. And so,
which is real
You've-
difficult, because,
yeah,
I've
I was
been
gonna say,
working on this.
you've been working on that, which was good, because while I was working on trying to,
Yeah.
do the pharmacy short-term reach out with insurance, et cetera, you've been working on that, so if you want to give an update on that.
Yeah, sort of where I got to, if you, we have the short-term problem, we have a long-term problem. And looking at the long-term problem, if you take it as a business and break it up into its parts, you come up with three big chunks. One is licensed pharmacist person. The other one is real estate. And the other piece is reimbursables, the insurance end of it. The pharmacist is a problem that can be solved, but it's not easy. The real estate piece is something that the town can be very involved in. Because, one of the problems with the pharmacy is that it is pretty low volume. They don't have any leverage in negotiating drug prices. They don't have a lot of volume in the winter. It's a business that loses money. Let's just say it, okay? It's a business that loses a boatload of money. So if the town can alleviate one of the biggest expenses here, which is, for instance, the real estate piece, that can go a long way to solving the problem. The other piece, the reimbursable piece, is you really need someone or some entity involved who actually understands the insurance side of the business. Because you buy drugs for $10, there's a copay that the person pays of maybe $1. There's still $9 sitting there. The insurance company comes in and pays $5.
Yeah.
So you got $4 loss every time you sell a prescription. So how do you get someone in here who can really manage the reimbursable side of the business? And that's what those three pieces are what we're looking at for the permanent solution, which is go to Sag Harbor, Colonial, someone who is already operating a pharmacy, try to entice them to come here, because they'll come with the pharmacist license and they'll come with the reimbursable expertise.
Yes.
And to do that, we've got to alleviate the rent piece. We've got to give them a place on Shelter Island to operate where they can serve our community. And that's kind of where we are at the moment, and we're trying to move down that road.
Yeah. And you have a call into
Stony Brook. Right.
Because they did do something, I guess, in
I
Amagansett or
believe their
Montauk?
East Hampton location,
Where-
House Lane, there's a pharmacy in their medical center there. So I reached out to them to see if that's something they would want to consider doing here, because they already leased from us for the medical center building, and I'm wondering if they would want to expand. It's questionable if they want to do that, but I'm just waiting to hear back. I've left a couple messages with different people, so.
It really is a question of enticing someone to
Right,
come here.
right.
No one's gonna jump over here because it's
Yeah.
such a profitable opportunity.
And that's something that we could try to work in to their existing,
Yeah,
you know,
please.
yeah, we can work with them on that in that building.
Yeah.
So, so I'm just waiting to hear back from them.
And I've had reach outs from a retired pharmacist who is getting to the community session on Sunday, is going to be away. But if we get to a point where we need someone who just recently retired from the business and ran, pharmacies for decades, they are willing to lend their expertise. And I think that we could also reach out to,
And helping us solve the problem, because if they're not licensed anymore, the licensing is a big cost.
yes, but understanding the business and bringing that,
That's
like
always good.
helping to educate us on, what, or an investor who is going to try and help out on stuff. So, so that's sort of where we stand now. So I do want to advertise it on Sunday, October 5th, from 12:30 until 1:30. I'll like sort of feel like it will probably go longer, just because I keep hearing from people when I tell them we're doing something, like, oh, I'm coming, which is why, so it was started, this, out on Facebook, there was a lot of chatter. People were like, we need to get together to come up with a solution. So a community organizer, she started to pull it together. But then, and I was always planning on being involved and somehow it, at a minimum showing up and hoping that everybody on the town board would show up. But then as we started to talk about it further, it made more sense for it to be town-sponsored health and wellness. This is a huge concern for the Health and Wellness Committee, and it's exactly where they should step in. So Nancy Green is going to be the facilitator for the meeting. So she will run it. There's a lot of, there's a lot of people who are angry in the community. We don't want to turn this into a complaining session. We want to turn this into a solution finding session, and having people, break, so we just did a little update on where we stand. I'd want to do the same on Sunday, just, this is where we stand, like, we've been doing this for 15 minutes, we probably.
Who's watching this?
Yeah, we can shorten that 15 minutes down to a 5 to 10 minute, presentation. I can do this is where we are now and how we're dealing with the short term. If you want to do this is where we are thinking as far as the long-term solution goes. And then that gives everybody sort of the mandate. And since Nancy's not available now, perhaps two of us, if she's available at 3:30, two of us can meet with her. So if, you're tied up,
I'm available, yep.
why don't you come back in at 3:30? I'll have Judy, excuse me, reach out to her and make sure she can come back in at 3:30, and then we can just sort of go over the agenda and kind of like pre-game how we want this to work. Excuse me, sorry. But then what we would do is we'll have the tables set up in the firehouse. And how many people are going to show up?
God only knows.
Like, I was hoping, like 40 to 50, we can break it down into 4 tables and have a town board member at each table to kind of like monitor. Yes, Liz, you.
I just wanted, I spoke to Nancy just before, because I thought it was at 3:30, there was a mix up around timing. So I would just give this update, because if she were here, she would give this update. So she's planning on having, I think most of her committee is able to come.
Yeah.
And so she does have, I want to say, and she could confirm, another 4 people who could, if there were extra tables, serve as facilitators at other tables. So I just wanted to pass that
Okay, that's
along,
perfect, okay, all right.
just for a little bit of extra information.
Okay, so then Gordon, at 3:30, we can sit down and kind of like, really lay out like, okay, this is how it's going to be. So then it would go back to the breakout groups to brainstorm at each table and then have one person, whether it's, whoever is the representative
The
or,
good news is we have a short-term solution here, and we just have to work on the long-term.
yeah,
Right.
That's the deal.
exactly. And then, yesterday I updated the pharmacy closure, on the town website as we hear, if I hear back from Greenport Drugs today and they say, oh, we can do delivery 3 days a week and these will be the days, then I will update what we have to say, this is also something that's available. But yeah, then once the groups come up with whatever they're thinking of, then it'll come back to the entire group for everybody to sort of hear and kind of like brainstorming. So I think the benefit in that is like someone may come up with ideas that we didn't think about. Someone else may come up with some concerns to say, hey, that kind of a solution might not work because it's not addressing this concern that a contingency has. Someone may come forward who has some expertise, like the pharmacist who called the other day. Maybe there'll be another retired pharmacist or an active pharmacist who comes in. There's somebody else who I spoke to who is willing to convert the space that they are in to, if we can't use, a town-owned space, like they might be able to do something and use the first floor of their building and move their business up to the second floor. So there's stuff out there. So if we bring it all together, we might come up with something.
And as you pointed out, one of the real challenges of this meeting on Sunday is to direct the conversation, because people, there are discussions out there about why doesn't the town run the pharmacy? And,
Because we also don't know how to run a pharmacy. So
There
we
is
probably know
that.
less about it
Yeah.
than,
Exactly.
let alone the liability
And the,
issues.
yes.
Yes. Yes.
And also, we want to stay away from the future of the building.
Right.
What's going to happen to what's left? I mean, that's a conversation for another day.
What's left of their building.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a private entity, like they just, in my mind, they took a huge risk removing the pharmacy. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I don't think that
With
what's
that
left.
contact that you sent over, that's the individual you were dealing with?
He was one of the people.
One of the people?
Yeah, so he's the CEO of hospitality, and he was the one who, originally told me like, no. But then I managed to reach out to someone higher up in the organization, and they did look at it again, but the answer came back the same. But yeah, I threw out you're at risk for me, like selling hats and T-shirts and over the counter. I mean, there is some merit to the over the counter piece because that's sometimes what people need is fever reducers. But we also have the IGA who also carries that. And so,
Well, people obviously are freaked out at the potential loss of the soda fountain lunch counter.
yeah, yes.
So, but that's a conversation for another day.
Yeah, yes, yeah. So anyways, and then the only other piece that I forgot to cover earlier is I have from the governmental reach outs that you and I both done, Gordon. Have you heard back from anybody yet? I have not.
I have heard back from the Suffolk County Deputy Commissioner, that he was looking for some data, but I think you just gave it to me. We only have 9
Right.
Yes,
homebound
yes.
people. And
Yeah, I'm also trying to get some information about,
then this is really going to be a state issue, okay? I think what's really more New York State, I think that's going to be involved, but I don't have anything. Hopefully before the end of the day, I'll be better prepared, okay?
yeah,
Because everybody's playing,
yes, exactly,
Okay.
exactly, yeah.
everybody's working hard, but the most important part is to have the temporary solution. This other stuff can take time to develop.
Exactly.
And I'm assuming we'll have something for the people of Colonial Drugs and the contact information and everything else of who they should be dealing with.
Yes, it was,
The transfer,
it was
That's
in,
Sag Harbor, but it's
yeah,
already.
yeah, Sag Harbor. So we do have that
I guess
information.
Kelly will have that information as well.
And it's on our website so that people can call, the Sag Harbor Pharmacy number is listed.
Okay.
And so people have to actively call the Shelter Island Pharmacy until they, until they close, to transfer their prescriptions. And if they don't get to it before Tuesday, Southold will then have the ability to transfer their prescriptions, or they go through their doctor's office.
I mean, I did this yesterday. I went to Colonial in Greenport and filled out a form, and they're gonna transfer it for me.
Okay,
I didn't, because I went to the Shelter Island Heights Pharmacy, and they're like, can't help you. So, so I just got on the ferry, went across, and filled out the forms and all the paperwork.
I just wanted to say something really quick.
Yeah.
So I know Kelly from the senior center isn't able to be there, nor is Ala, our social worker.
okay.
But Reggie, who works with Ala, who's been working closely with both of them, I know that they're working as both like Ala and the senior center are working to help seniors with that. And Reggie will be there on Sunday.
Oh, good.
So just like as a resource to maybe help answer some of those technical questions. So I just wanted to let you know that, that they would be there as well. And are planning to be, I know Ala and Kelly, like they were all meeting just to make sure that like Reggie was fully.
Okay.
Yes, anyway, so just as a thing to know.
And I was this afternoon, I wanted to reach back out to Lisa Hashagan, who's, the manager of the Shelter Island Pharmacy, to just check in with her to see how the transfers and things were going, from her perspective. So given your comment about
This is my experience yesterday.
not having the transfer forms available, then we may want to have some more information,
Yeah.
for Sunday. Okay, all right, so I'll see if I can have that by 3:30.
Okay,
Yes.
one other thing I might need is trying to model out money that may be needed for the permanent solution. I may need to talk to Sag Harbor Pharmacy. Do you have his cell phone number too?
Oh, yeah.
If you could share that with me.
No, I've been reaching him, and not his cell phone, I've been reaching him through the Sag Harbor Pharmacy number, but I'll double check. I did not bring any of my pharmacy stuff, but come into my office.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'll
text-
come now.
Yeah, I'll text, yeah, okay, all right, but that is it.
Yeah, just to wrap up the purpose of Sunday's meeting. So it's a listening session to get an update on what all the short-term solutions are that we've come up with. But then the real meat and potatoes of it is kind of a brainstorming session in small groups by the public to help think of long-term solutions and to put some ideas together that then the town board can look at and help people facilitate if they become
Yes.
viable
Yes,
options.
yes.
So
Yeah.
it's twofold. And it's, to hear concerns and figure out, what solutions are solutions that the public would be happy with or
Yeah.
would work for the public.
Okay,
Okay.
all right.
Awesome.
And then on Tuesday, I will also put in on the agenda, again, an update on, where things are going. Just sort of keep people informed and maybe a brief summary that we can do after the meeting on Sunday to just, like, this is what happened.
Well, and Tuesday is the 7th, so at that point, we will have spoken to Lisa to figure out what's happening that day, because if that's like the transition day, and then we'll be able to give an update on how that's
Yes,
gonna go. So if people didn't transfer and they want to transfer, then how they can move forward with that.
yes. And when I spoke to Southold Pharmacy yesterday, Suzanne was working with the software company that both pharmacies use to make sure that that transition was going to come over smoothly. So she's on.
Colonial and Sag all use the same software.
I don't know about Colonial and Sag Harbor, but Southold, who's getting the bulk of like, I am not transferring my prescription. I'm gonna let that happen because I wanna see, like, what happens.
Is it possible to have somebody from Sag Harbor here
We can reach out.
for Sunday? That would be really a good.
Okay, yeah, I'll reach out to Tariq. Yeah.
That would be a real good thing to have. This way, if anybody who's there, it's sort of,
Yeah, anyone with digital, yeah. Okay,
All
all right, good.
Let's get this done for the community.
Okay, all right. We will, so we're ending the regular work session and we're adjourning the budget work session to double check the date so I don't say it wrong,
Don't know.
to October 14th at 1 PM.
Correct. Yeah,
And we have,
budget wise.
yes, and we have the town clerk and PD coming in. I don't know, did
I don't know when Jackson.
I'm not sure, yeah. Yeah, but anyways,
Next one is October 14th.
October 14th at 1 PM. Yeah, it's a Tuesday because it's the day after Indigenous People Day, and we do not have a work session when we have a holiday on the Monday, so we're not getting that and using the budget. So, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.